never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
This country can't be knocked out with one punch. We get right back up again, and when we do, the world's going to hear the roar of our engines.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
You do your work, and we will do our bit.
Republic. I like the sentiment. It means people can live free, talk free, go or come, buy or sell, be drunk or sober, however they choose.
Are you ready to be who you are?
No poetry, just a straight answer.
The government has deliberately sought to deceive the United States by false statements and expressions of hope for continued peace.
We are men of the hood. That ain't knowledge at expense.
But there's no both sides anymore. They're just trying to wreck our goddamn country. It's time for you younger guys to take over.
You meant to be here tonight. This is your time. Their time is done. It's over. Screw them. This is your time. Now go out there and take it.
If you guys don't start thinking as men, we're gonna have a lousy country.
For the crimes of incitement to cause unrest, I declare to be an outlaw.
All right, everybody, it's the Outlaw Radio Network for the 21st of January, 2024. Thanks for checking out the show. K-Dog, Black Tom, Lori, the CEO in the building, Bob Ross is running the boards. And
you said my real name.
I know. I'm not good at this.
Happy trees.
I know. Kayfabe. For those of you who don't watch professional wrestling, kayfabe is when you keep everything in storyline mode, even when you're not in the storyline. Anyway, and then St. Paul joins. Yeah, you never heard of kayfabe?
No, I haven't.
Kayfabe is a slang term that wrestlers use.
Okay.
That basically means that even when you're not in the ring, like if you're traveling, you're at a restaurant, whatever, you still keep your storyline going all the time. So if you hate a dude in wrestling, this is not a wrestling show, by the way. If you hate a dude in wrestling and you run into each other in a restaurant, kayfabe means you have to continue to act like you hate each other because public can see you.
Oh, okay.
So it's continually keeping the.
So you're always in character.
You're always in character. It's about not opening that fourth curtain, I think is what they call it. You know, it's about keeping the story going.
So is it kind of like Puddle's Pity Party, the clown, the singing clown with the golden voice.
Yeah.
If he has his makeup on, he never talks, but he sings.
Yeah. It's just about playing the role all the time. So on this show, and again, I say all of that to say I need to do a better job of maintaining kayfabe with Bob Ross, our board op, and not using his real name. Happy Trees. Joining us from the palatial estates in the middle of nowhere, where he supposedly, in air quotes, has gotten his internet fixed, is St. Paul, the voice of reason. Hello, Pollywog. What's up, buddy?
Hi, Kevin. I love you so much. I would do absolutely anything for you. I so appreciate your kind.
Now, for those of you on AM, you can't see that Paul's giving me the finger for calling him Pollywog. What's up, Paul? How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, all things considered. My internet is fixed, so I'm, at least for the moment, again, and again.
We hope.
But here's the worst part, dude, and I know that a lot of you can identify with this weekend. My weekends, because it's the only time the wife is home, are very busy, right? It's packed full of us getting stuff done. And so late last night, getting ready to go to bed, started having a strange sensation in the side of my face, woke up this morning and my goodness, my dog is like,
did you have a resurgence of Bell's palsy? Is that what happened?
A little bit, but it wasn't. It's an abscess tooth. And so yeah, listen, I have been grazed by a bullet. I've been accidentally stabbed once, did it to myself, and Neither hurt anywhere close to as bad. Yes. So, working at the pizza parlor that we had years ago, had the knife leaning up against on the shelving unit, and it was positioned just perfectly so that the back of the knife was a little bit longer than the shelf. It was just the shelf that was used for like holding different kinds of sauces and stuff. And I leaned forward to grab something, and my body pressed the knife in just enough so that the knife punctured, and yeah, voila, stabbed myself. A true Polish moment. Yep.
Brilliant.
True Polish moment. Yep. But I neither one hurts nearly as bad as an abscess tooth, man. I am on like 3,500 milligrams of ibuprofen. I am on like acetaminophen. And well, you know what? My kidneys are going to have to freaking deal with it because this
And
hurts.
your liver.
I was thinking the liver.
Yeah, your
Yeah.
Liver
liver.
metabolizes Motrin.
Yeah. Hey, Paul.
Paul.
You remember that that gift exchange? Did you already eat all your cosmic candy?
Are you kidding, brother? I have half that box left over, and it came in real handy last night.
Yeah, I'll take care of that tooth.
There you go.
Yep.
This episode of CBD Insider brought to you by Black Ring Spirits, as if alcohol.
Oh, Kevin, I
wasn't
love
enough.
you, but there ain't much
that wasn't
CBD in this
my
stuff.
friend. Yeah, that wasn't a CBD Christmas
Yeah,
gift.
no.
That was
It's
much
the
more
only
exciting.
reason I got to sleep last night were those gummies. I'm telling you,
Oh,
the
good.
only reason.
Good.
Yeah.
So just curious, was Katie able to do a little veterinary work and get that tooth out there for you?
Well, no.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
Yeah.
There's always
I will
the
tell you
door.
this though. There you can do they've got dentists that do telehealth stuff now. So I got an appointment in the morning via video teleconference with a doctor with a dentist for only $39. So I
What's
can
he gonna
get,
do? Reach through the screen, ring style, and yank your tooth out for you?
They
No,
probably
because it's
antibiotic.
it's abscessed, right? I need to treat the infection first.
Right.
Yeah, they'll probably just give them a prescription.
Yeah, I got to get the prescription for the infection, get it under
39
control.
for the prescription, 180 at the pharmacy for the meds, probably. I have no
probably.
idea. It's ridiculous.
Probably.
All right, so you want to hear what I did this weekend? You want to hear because I missed Wednesday's show. I want to thank the millions and millions of fans of the show as I was not here. Shut up, Paul. If there's millions when I'm here and only 4 when I'm not, that says a lot. Anyway, I got to sing at church.
I'm just including the 4 people in studio.
Oh, okay. I got to sing in church today, which I haven't done in a while, and it was good fun. But I had to miss Wednesday because we had rehearsal, and so Wednesday was rehearsal, and then this morning I got to do a little bit of worship in the house. It was pretty good stuff. It was fun. It was a good time.
And I heard the sound guy's actually going to unmute you next month.
Yeah, I hope they own now. Although, true story, my oldest son when he was in Bremerton High School, he did a fashion show, and he walked right off the front of the stage.
Oh, no.
And so now every time I'm on a stage, I worry that I'm going to walk off the front of the stage. So, I did not today.
Did you see the end from the lights or something?
Yeah, the problem is if you're on a stage and you have a spotlight in your face, you have a really hard time seeing in front of you. Like, I tease the crap out of him for it, but it's understandable.
It's right.
But I did not walk off the stage, and I did not accidentally have my fly down.
Oh,
and
that's
so it was
Tom,
so you're saying it was down not
Yeah.
accidentally?
Yes, it was not. It was on purpose. No, the fly was zipped. Everything was good. I was on key. I didn't botch anything, and they're gonna let me do it again next month. So we'll cover the schedule for that. I already have that. I'll talk to you guys off air about that.
Nice.
But
So what were your songs today?
what was my songs today? Oh, that's a great question.
What was your favorite song you sang today?
Hallelujah for the Cross.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good song. It's the first one we did. I had never heard it before. I had to learn it for this week. So the other 3 I was aware of, but this one I wasn't. But a good song. Good song. One day they might give me a solo that nobody can hear me. And
they have me singing backup now. Way back up on the back.
Way back up, yeah. Anyway, so good time. What'd you do this week, Tom?
Today's my Friday. It's been go
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, it's been
pass the ammunition.
Distillery. So I
been busy at the distillery.
Well, yeah. Now that I have a new malt supplier and I've got grain, I'm trying to catch up from all the sales of Christmas time because I'm sadly out of stock.
Wow. Okay. Are you going to do any more distilling of the Outlaw Radio Network branded stuff?
If I can catch up with everything else, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I know that we got people that are anxious to pick up some. So
I'll add to my collection. I got 3 unopened bottles at home. They're ready to use.
But you don't drink, do you, Phil?
No, not really.
Sorry, Bob Ross. You don't drink, do you, Bob Ross?
Only happy little trees.
Why do you have alcohol at home? If 3 bottles of it, if you're
just in case
to support my friend at Black Green Spirits.
Right. What about guests?
And maybe I'll take it over. I was planning to go to New Year's Eve with a friend, but things didn't work out.
Okay, all right.
My consumption of alcohol is very limited. It's usually a couple social gatherings. It's usually nothing more than a drink.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way.
I mean, I'm still on my second,
except on your birthday.
Except on my birthday.
I'm still on my second bottle of rum in my marriage, and the only reason for the rum is you put a little bit in your eggnog, and it keeps the wife away from the eggnog. That is.
It sure does. Right. Gonna leave it at that, my friend. Hey, I will tell the listening audience. I will tell all of my fellow co-hosts. I will be going out to karaoke on Friday night, though. I have not done karaoke in a while, so I will be doing karaoke at the regular spot. I'm not going to put it out over the airwaves because the last time I put it out over the airwaves, some weird people showed up. So I'm just going to say, if you want to go, shoot me a message.
Sorry, dude.
Facebook.
I thought I was invited.
No, you are always invited, Paul. Shoot me a message on Facebook, and if I don't respond to you, you're one of the weird people I don't want there. Anyway.
All
righty. Hey, Paul, do you want to? I know you've got. We're going to stay local this hour because there's 2 elected representatives in our beloved county that find themselves in noteworthy positions. Do you want to lead with your conversation with Tara first, or should I talk about the ongoing conversation with Michelle Caldier with a relatively interesting take that you may not expect?
Well, let's do this. I have 2. Both of which sent to me by local folks that wanted to make the radio show aware of these 2 bills and issues surrounding Tara Simmons. Neither one of these did the people per se include their personal thoughts on it. However, one of them, an article was written about it by Jason Rance. We want to make sure we give proper accreditation there. So let me, but he does a good job on some of this stuff, dude. I mean, personally, I'm a little bit jealous. Dude's on Fox News. He gets paid to do radio. Well, he gets paid to do radio, but so let's start with this first one. So apparently a listener of ours reached out and had a conversation over Tara Simmons sponsoring House Bill HB 2030. Now, for those, I had not heard of this one. Okay. So here's the deal. And I quote, this was the message received by her constituent that was sent to me. My bills are moving. Last fall, I sent you an update about my trip to Norway, which is true. She did do that. I followed her on her trip. Basically, her trip was centered around visiting prisons and jails, and then understanding how some of the Northern European countries handle incarceration and stuff like that. Listen, to me, that's a legitimate, reasonable thing to go do, right? That's what lawmakers should be doing, going around the world, seeing how other countries do things. So I got no problems with any of that. She said, where I talked about my tour of Norwegian prisons and learning how another country's approach to prisons and incarcerated people is vastly different and more positive than what we experience in the United States. I was so inspired by this trip last summer that I started investigating what's done in most states around the country and learned that in all but 2 states, Vermont and Maine, voting age citizens convicted of a felony are barred from voting for at least some period of time. That's why this year I'm sponsoring House Bill 2030, which, if passed, would only revoke a person's voting rights if they're convicted of a state crime punishable by death. Now, let me first put out there before we discuss this, the death penalty is off the table in Washington. So
no,
you can't be sentenced to death in Washington State.
I think hold on. Maybe I'm wrong. I think you can be sentenced to death, but it won't be there won't be an execution because they put a stay on it. So can't they still be sentenced to death and then it's just in limbo because Inslee is
I don't have an answer for you. I'm
Well,
under
we'll do
the
some research.
I'm under the
I thought they could.
I am under the impression that the death penalty at this moment is off the table in Washington State.
I think that's the case.
I'll do some research. Keep talking.
Yeah, which that being the case, I do find that part of this a little bit interesting. Like then why sugarcoat it? Because everybody's going to know the death penalty isn't going to be ascribed to any perpetrators in this state. So why say it's off the table if you're sentenced to death? Go ahead, Kevin.
Let me back up really quick. So in April of last year, Governor Jay Inslee signed Senate Bill 5087, which formally abolished capital punishment in Washington State and removed provisions for capital punishment from state law. I don't know what that does retroactively. I mean, I know the people that were sentenced to death before are not going to be executed, but I wonder if they would still be in that middle ground that Tara Simmons is talking about. But go ahead.
Yeah. So that's the idea behind the bill. And full disclosure here, this constituent reached out to me. I did tell him I can understand the reasoning for that conversation. I having worked in immigration for a long time as a consultant, I saw how illegal immigrants abuse the system. And many of them come here believing that ultimately they will end up with the right to vote. Many Democrats are pushing for them, and they're starting on a very small scale in cities in California and New York and a few other places where they are beginning to give them the rights to vote in local city elections, school board elections, stuff like that. All of those things open the door. They're like a gateway drug, right? All of them open the door to potential abuse. And I don't think anybody would disagree that when it comes to voting rights, that is a sacred obligation of American citizens, not people that come here illegally. But I have always looked at criminals convicted of a felony who weren't able to vote as disenfranchised individuals. I know a couple of folks that are felons, but they go to work, they pay their taxes. So in my opinion, they should have the right to have their voices heard through our elections. And so and a lot of people do go out and petition the court to get their rights returned to them, right? So this already happens. But I am not against the idea that as you're going through the court process and serving the time for your crime, you should not be able to vote, right? That's part of your punishment, is losing your voice as a citizen. So listen, I think that this is something.
Hold on, but based on what?
Yeah. Based on what?
Based on what? Like, why is that? The reason I'm asking is.
Sure. Go ahead.
I think we all have assumed that is part and parcel. You're convicted of a crime. You're in prison. You don't get to vote. But I'm asking.
Well, a felony, right? A felony.
Well, I said prison. Yeah, people don't go to prison for not a felony. They go to county jail, which is not a prison; it's a jail. But anyway, yeah.
I don't know. I haven't spent enough time there, Kevin. But thank you for educating.
Well, there was that time I was in Turkish jail for cutting the tags off of my mattresses, even though it says not to. No, but my question is, how did that become status quo? And I asked that, and I'm not siding with.
You mean hold on? You mean felons losing the right to vote?
Yes. Like how did that become status quo? Because it is certainly not in the Constitution.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for you.
Yeah. In fact, and I'm not sticking up for felons at all, but it spits in the face of the Constitution. Because the 14th Amendment specifically says that, in fact, I'm going to read to you what the 14th Amendment says. Well, I'm not going to. Born or naturalized in the United States. So all people that are born or naturalized in the United States, including the formerly enslaved, are providing all citizens with, quote, equal protection under the laws. It does not say unless you were convicted of a felony. It does not say unless you are in prison or an incarcerated person. It says all citizens. So not siding with Tara Simmons, but I do find it curious that we've just accepted blanket-wise, well, if they're in prison or if they're a felon, they should lose their right to vote. I know that Washington's undone that once they've gotten out. But the fact that we've just blanketly accepted that when that blatantly goes against the 14th Amendment to the Constitution that says all citizens are granted equal process under the law and does not provide a disclaimer that says unless they're a felon or unless they're in prison. So that would be my only argument. Philip, really quick.
No, I listen, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I don't like the idea. Listen, anybody can go get into a bar fight.
Amen.
I'm serious. Anybody can go get themselves into a bar fight. You know, Tom could go in there with his wife, some freaking pervert hippie dude, long-haired hippie dude who was told to not apply, goes hitting on Tom's wife. Tom turns around, pops him in the face, breaks his nose, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Tom goes to jail. Now you're a felon for assault, right? It can freaking happen.
Yep.
To anybody. I don't care who you are. It can happen.
Phil, go ahead.
So at the time of the writing of the 14th, did that include women? All citizens.
No, but again, that was corrected with the 19th Amendment. So,
and then additionally, does things extend to the states have a job to run voting, which I know we disagree a little bit on, and I'm with you, but I'm like, okay, this is what the
hold on.
position is.
But here's why that argument doesn't wash. And again, remember, folks, I am your constitutional scholar. The problem is the 10th Amendment in regards to states' rights only applies to issues that are not already outlined within the Constitution. So this is outlined in the Constitution that all Americans have equal protection and under the law. So a state cannot pass something that deprives an American citizen of equal protection under the law because that would be in violation of the Constitution, which takes precedence because it's written in the Constitution.
And what about felons who don't get their gun rights?
I was going to say there's a little pushback about Second Amendment now.
But there shouldn't be. And I'm not advocating to give felons guns. That's not what I'm saying. But the fact of the matter is the Constitution is clear. The Constitution says everybody gets a gun. It does not say everybody gets a gun unless they've been convicted of a felony, or unless they get past a background check, or unless they have the right size magazine, or unless it's not a semi-automatic, weapon, or unless it's not near a school, or
it says the phrase. What phrase does it say, Kevin?
Shall not be infringed.
Yeah, shall not be
infringed. There we go.
We'll talk about this more on Facebook and the background on AM.
Took my mic away.
Stick it. We did not.
Outlaw Radio Network.
Outlaw Radio. Stop that.
We heard your voice, Tom.
Outlaw.com. All right, Outlaw Radio. Listen, before I go read the chat, and I know that people in the chat are going to be like, oh, K-Dog's absolutely right, or K-Dog's an idiot. I'm expecting that. That's fine. And I'm not advocating for giving guns to felons. Okay? And obviously someone's going to say, well, wait a minute. Does that mean while they're in prison they should be armed? Don't be stupid. But what I am advocating for is that if we are a nation based on the Constitution, and the Constitution specifically says something, how in the name of God are we going against what the Constitution says? If you don't like it, you file an amendment and you pass an amendment, and that's fine. And if you want a constitutional amendment that says no felons can own a firearm after they get out of their lockup or whatever, then you can do that. That's written in the framework of the Constitution, and that was created that you can make amendments. But we violate the Constitution every single day in this country under the idea that it makes us feel warm and fuzzy. We have background checks to make sure that really crazy bad people don't have guns. Well, that's great. I'm glad you feel good about it. But it's in violation of the Constitution. Because the Constitution does not put limits on who can have a gun. And if you don't like it, then get an amendment to the Constitution passed.
Or case law.
No, I don't care about case law.
Well, that's how things are.
But I don't care. Because case law should not invalidate the Constitution. That's my point. And that's why I don't have an issue with Tara Simmons' bill. All right, hold on. We'll come back on AM in a second. Outlaw Radio. I'm wearing pants.
You're not happy about it.
.com. Outlaw Radio Network. Sorry, my God. Hey, by the way, really quick before we get back to this, Lori brought in Paul. She's showing you in the video. Lori brought in brownies, and these are not Dennis brownies. Okay, just so we're clear,
they are special. Brownies.
These don't have the ganja in them. But Lori brought in brownies with a piece of bacon on top of it. And the best part about the brownies is she brought enough for everybody, but hardly anybody's here tonight. Paul's not here. Andy's not here. Dennis isn't here, which means we all get to double up. In the immortal words of Celebrity Jeopardy, suck it, Trebek. Anyway.
I made brownies not long ago.
Oh, sorry.
You made brownies?
I did make brownies.
Your special brownies?
They were pretty special.
I'm just going to say that right now, you're outnumbered. Neither me, nor Lori, nor Phil have at any point in our lives, adult or adolescents, ever partaken in the devil's lettuce. Ever. Not one time. All three of us are clean. You're going to hell. Phil, were you going to say something?
I'm driving the bus, man.
I was going to ask K-Dog here.
Yes, ask away.
In your constitutional...
Oh, hold on, really quick. For those of you that missed it, we're talking about a bill proposed by Tara Simmons, which would allow people in prison the ability to vote while they're in prison. And I've gone on a tangent about how the Constitution does not prohibit that, therefore it should be allowed. But go ahead, Phil.
So does your constitutional scholarliness,
yes,
and I was earlier alluding to it, get into all the case law, which is what guides everything. Like right now, we're in a pretty awesome time. All of this case law being generated around the president, or former, or maybe future. We'll see.
Future. We'll talk about that later, by the way. Goodbye, Ron. It was nice to know you.
But does your scholarliness include understanding the case law?
Yeah, but again, here's the problem. The problem is that federal judges are appointed by Republican or Democrat presidents who have an agenda. Okay, so when a Democrat appoints a federal judge, they appoint someone who has a similar political ideology and how they interpret the Constitution. And Republicans do the same thing. So when one of these lower courts makes a ruling, okay, cool, brilliant. The Supreme Court and the Constitution are the arbiters. The Supreme Court should uphold the Constitution in every single way, shape, and form. Now, obviously, they haven't. I mean, look at the Dred Scott decision, right? But I mean, in general, in general, the Supreme Court should be expected to uphold the Constitution everywhere that it goes. So I don't care about case law, because case law, hand over fist, violates the Constitution on a daily basis.
Sure. Until it gets appealed,
and
until the Supreme Court decides thou is worthy of our presence.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
But case law is still the law of the land that we deal in.
That's true. But again, I'm living in libertarian land at the moment, where there's actually rainbows and unicorns and fairy princesses flying around.
Explains all the glitter, huh?
Buck naked,
Right?
swinging their wand and making everything perfect, right? In my world, where the Constitution is concrete and shall not be violated, I don't care about case law. I just don't. At all. Now, I know that the state courts do, and I know that the federal courts do, but until that gets to the Supreme Court, I'm concerned about the Constitution, what it says.
The case law is what sets a lot of things. I mean, your constitutional rights of Miranda was case law.
You're talking about having set precedent.
Yeah.
So it's all important,
because case law is always challenged. Precedent is what rules the day. So, when they rule on a case, and this is why we talk a lot about activist judges and how they've really screwed up our system of law. Remember, John Adams said it best: "We're a nation of laws, not men." And as we've let activist judges and others kind of overtake, to Phil's point, we've stopped allowing precedents that has been set as a result of case law. We've stopped allowing that to really be our focal point of the law. Now, if you're an elected leader, you just make sure that certain judges that you like get put in positions of power, and you can change all kinds of stuff.
Yep. Yeah. And here's the deal. For me, for Christians, right? If you ask a Christian, well, what about abortion? What about gay marriage? What do most Christians tell you? Well, what does the Bible say? What does the Bible say? What does the Bible say? That's the default answer. What does the Bible say? So if you ask me about something legally in this country, what does the Constitution say? What does it say? What does the Constitution say? Because if you go against what the Constitution says, then you're wrong. I'm sorry. It's the law of the land. It is written in like clay tablet form. Okay? It should not ever be violated. And if you make a decision to go against it, it's heresy. It's just what it is. And by the way, Paul, if you have you ever seen the Constitution or the Declaration of Independence in person?
No, never been to Washington D.C., brother.
It's an awestruck moment, dude. We still need to go.
Yes, you've told me many times that you fully intend on taking me to D.C.
I am going to take you to DC.
I'm thoroughly looking forward to going to.
Okay, let's set a date. Me and you, let's set a date.
We'll talk about. Yeah, we'll talk about that off air.
I'm just telling you right now, talk to your wife, get permission. You and I are going to go spend like 6 days in DC in October.
I mean, that's more than some politicians spend there, I would say.
Amen to that. You do need a week in DC though, just because of all the museums. And you'd spend a day all by yourself you'd spend a day all by yourself at the National Cemetery. Okay, what was the other bill that Tara Simmons has well, hold on. So you and I are on the same page about this criminal prisoner voting bill, right? We're okay with it?
I am. I think I don't want to. It's worth the conversation, right? That conversation, there's no problem, and it should be had. And I think that there is something to that. Okay. Now this next one, not so much. Are you sure you don't want to wait on this one? I don't want anybody in that room there to get all upset. You sure you don't want to do Michelle Caldier first? That came out wrong. My apologies.
We can do the Michelle Caldier
really
first.
Came out wrong.
Let me read this.
Yeah, I really did.
Let me read this.
Right, you do Michelle Caldier. We'll wait.
Yeah, this is. Okay, we'll do Michelle Caldier's story real quick. This is off a news break. I'll post a link to it in the chat if you guys want to go read it for yourself after the show. After the show! Not during, but after! All right, here we go. An investigation... Sorry, I just don't want people leaving the show in the middle of it. An investigation released on last Monday, nearly a week ago, found State Representative Michelle Caldier, Republican, Gig Harbor, which is not true. She's Republican out of the 26, which is partly Gig Harbor, but also everywhere else. Violated Washington State House policies on abusive behavior and bullying. Investigator Cheryl J. Willard of the law firm Williams Kastner concluded in a report to the Chief Clerk of the House, Bernard Dean, that Caldier demonstrates a pattern, this is a quote, demonstrates a pattern of behavior in which she lashes out at people, makes public statements that have an impact of demeaning and embarrassing individuals, and is generally disrespectful. Caldier, who according to the report experienced vision loss, had claimed that the House failed to accommodate her disability. Willard found the claim to be wholly unsubstantiated, adding that the House had provided Caldier with reasonable accommodations. Phone calls, an email, and text message to Caldier were not returned as of Monday afternoon. Caldier has represented the 26th District since 2015. She's appealing the investigation, which was spurred in December of 2022 due to an interaction at a Spokane airport the month before. According to the report, Caldier told a person in the women's bathroom at the airport that they were horrible and, quote, "I'm done with you," which another person overheard. Caldier is returning from a House Republican caucus meeting in Spokane. It is not clear from the report who those people were because their names and titles were not provided. According to the report, Caldier admitted to the statements, but said she was startled, was putting on makeup, and couldn't see who she was talking to, and didn't know why the person had followed her in the bathroom. Willard interviewed more than a dozen people for the report, including Caldier. The report was dated October 12th, but not released until December 18th. So this is, I guess, been out for a while. So I'm going to say just two quick things about this, and we'll get the panel's discussion. So we all know that I'm not a fan of Caldier. Where's my daughter's money? But In this case, and I want everyone to remember that I think she's an awful person. And I think she's been a below average state representative. I don't believe she's represented her district well. I believe that there's a lot of victim stance coming out of her. And I don't think, and I've known her on a personal level. You know, it's not like I'm just reporting on her from afar. We've hung out. I knew her when she was with her fiance. We did karaoke, blah, 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 blah. I don't like her. I personally, my opinion, which does not reflect the views of this station, its staff, its advertisers, all three of them, or anybody associated with the show, my opinion is that she's an awful human being. But I refuse to believe anything that comes out of the House or out of the Senate when it's a Democrat in charge of the investigation, hiring their own lawyer to conduct the investigation, and then they report back to the Democrats, and the person they're investigating is a Republican. Can you honestly tell me politics don't come into play?
Not in this day and age.
That the Democrats were not frothing at the mouth at the ability to undermine her upcoming reelection campaign just a little bit to hopefully get a Democrat to take that seat, because Democrats know that at some level they're going to lose some seats in November. Now, I don't think it'll be the red wave you idiots keep talking about, but whatever. But they're going to lose some seats. So if they can take the opportunity to undermine Caldeer and maybe get a Democrat to win that seat to make up for a seat they're going to lose somewhere else, can you honestly tell me that the Democrats wouldn't do that? Au contraire, mon frere. I guarantee you they would. So while I think Caldeer is an awful person, and while I'm surprised the Kitsap County Republican Party still endorses or supports her, I take this report as nonsensical because it wasn't an unbiased investigation. It was someone with a political axe to grind going against the opposing party. So that doesn't mean nothing for me. Paul?
Well, but in all honesty, it is kind of par for the course about what we've heard. We've heard it through members of the Republican Party in Kitsap County as well.
Sure.
Her behavior at the local meetings, tripping an elderly constituent, just to name a few. So it ain't like that we haven't seen this behavior. The accusations of this behavior surrounding her before. But I mean, listen. We're all different people, and we all deal with things differently. And, this is obviously just how she chooses to deal with things, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's all it seems like to me. I mean, because, she doesn't, like, the same thing happened to Jesse, right?
Yeah, that's very true.
We didn't give that a lot of credit either. So, folks, don't let something like that sway your vote one way or another.
I threw some examples of some of this kind of stuff in our group chat that we discuss things on, and I thought there for we've got 30 seconds. I'll expand on this on the other side of the break.
Okay, we'll do that during the commercial break on AM. Please enjoy the commercials. If you're on Facebook, we'll get to some of your comments in chat. What I really want to focus on are the ones that are telling me how right I am. So we'll take a look at that in a second. It's Outlaw Radio. Stick around. We're back after this on Megatalk. All right, Outlaw Radio. Couple things to check into here. G. Andrew Kennedy says, "I'd be scared too when you have nothing to think about while listening to a boring Kevin monologue." Shut up, G. Andrew Kennedy. You could be nice. You could be. Oh wait, you're a Michigan fan. You can't be nice. Okay. Kevin Nelson mentioned proposed a lightsaber duel between Paul and Tom. J. Andrew Kennedy. Paul is sitting in a safe space, scared of arm wrestling. Tom. That's probably true.
Paul would beat me.
Really quick, Mick said, "Kevin, your constitutional status is repealed. According to your logic, the First Amendment would support graphic sexuality in kids' presence. The writers of the Constitution neither had your understanding or support for the right to vote. my comments to Tara. What is concerning is that those who have raped others, violated children, murdered, harmed others to the extent that their lives and family members will never be the same. To give a person a right to vote that has not shown any remorse, ability to, and then it cuts it off in my feed. I get your point, Mick, and I hear you. I'm merely suggesting that if we are to change the Constitution, then we need to change the Constitution and not have a willy-nilly interpretation of it based on what we feel about at that time. I also don't agree that the First Amendment gives the rights to harm children with graphic content under the guise of the First Amendment. But I understand your point. I get where you're coming from. Paul talks a lot about a slippery slope. It's his favorite argument. In fact, when he's being intimate with his wife, he just says, "Tell me," and she says, "Slippery slope," and he just gets all excited. But the fact of the matter is, eroding the Constitution is a slippery, slippery slope. Back after this on AM Outlaw Radio
Network.com.
Stop it! Outlaw Radio. By the way, to all of our listeners in Buffalo, New York, congratulations on your Bills today. What a rousing job you guys did. Great work. 44-yard field goal to tie, and oops, boink. Kansas City back in the AFC Championship game again.
I won that game either way.
Yeah, Taylor Swift was up there.
So was Jason Kelsey.
Oh, yeah. Travis Kelsey's brother was up there with his shirt off. Boy, that was disturbing. Tom, you had a comment to make in regards to this topic.
Yeah, well,
can I give a sponsor tag real quick?
Sure.
This libertarian moment brought to you by Black Ring Spirits. Have you been to Black Ring Spirits? Are located right here in the Town Square Shopping Center in Port Orchard. A vast array of fine distilled spirits for you to peruse from. And remember, if you wake up tomorrow and your spouse is not as attractive as they were, drink some Black Ring Spirits and they will be. Here's Tom with your libertarian moment.
Well, thanks. But it's not a libertarian moment, really.
It's coming from you. It's a libertarian moment.
No, it's an...
Go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
No, it's an observation about politics just today.
And it's not a libertarian comment. Okay, go ahead.
No, it really isn't. Because if you peruse, hang on, let me pull these stories up.
Mm-hmm.
If you peruse, dang this chat. If you peruse the interwebs,
yeah,
there are examples of all kinds of nonsense. In Ohio, there's a I don't remember what county it was. It doesn't matter. It was during a county commissioners meeting. There are three commissioners in the midst of a meeting, one of which is very conservative. The rest of the county government is rather liberal.
Okay.
The liberal side and the conservative side weren't agreeing. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, that was perfect timing, Phil. Bob.
May I? Bob. May I? Let's get ready to rumble! Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, well, no one wanted to rumble. So during the county commissioners meeting, the conservative commissioner was placed under arrest.
For what?
What?
Absolutely nothing. It got thrown out. A judge in their county threw it out. And then the lawsuit that she turned around and filed against the sheriff and the other commissioners, et cetera, is grabbing traction. So that's a great example of, gee, I don't like this person politically. And then I have one from the other side of the aisle. So I'm not just picking on the Dems.
Just like red flag laws.
Yeah, yep. Then we've also got...
Does that mean there's blue flag laws?
Red flag laws relate to gun ownership. And, I don't feel safe around them, and they have a gun.
Right.
I can't wait to figure out how to have the lawsuit about gun-free zones. Like, I don't feel safe around those places.
So, but the counter to that story in Ohio would be, where was this at? And this is at the federal level, but a House Dem was kicked out. Oh, that's what it was. Maria Salazar had Barbara Lee. So Salazar is a Republican out of Florida. Barbara Lee is a Dem out of California.
Mm-hmm.
They were having an argument or a conversation, if you will, about lowering embargoes against Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
And because the conservative panel didn't agree with the liberal visitor, they ended up kicking her out of a committee meeting that she had every right to be part of.
Sure.
So
Yeah, listen, I'm not surprised, but I do want to caution something though.
But this is the nature of politics nowadays.
Well, that's what I want to caution you against. This has always been the nature of politics. Paul, tell me if I'm wrong. This has always been the nature of politics in our nation. This is no different. The difference is now we hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have 24-hour news cycles that just regurgitate awful stories to get listenership up, make a whole bunch of money on advertisers, and get their ratings up. This is, and can I give you an example in point?
Go.
All right. Do you know who Charles Sumner was? You ever heard that name?
I think so, maybe.
Yeah. Well, in 1856, he was a senator in D.C.
Okay.
I don't remember if he was for slavery or anti-slavery, but whatever he did, he pissed off somebody from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And on the Senate floor, somebody from the other side.
This was one of the
Preston Brooks.
This is one of the fist fights.
No, this was Preston Brooks took a cane and beat Sumner senseless on the floor in the Capitol. And when I did my tour of the Capitol, you can still see blood stains on the floor in the Capitol from when Sumner got beat with the cane. So this isn't new. What's new is we have a media that is now 24-hour news cycle that milks this stuff. That's what's different.
I agree with that, but because of that 24-hour news cycle, it's eroding things that I think we've lost probably in the last, really
since Trump was elected.
No, like the last 20 years, we've quit respecting our adversaries. There used to be respect for someone on the other side of the aisle.
Paul, who's right? Am I right or is Tom right?
You're both right. Because listen.
Are you a libertarian, Paul? What happened?
Well, no. Listen.
Everybody
here's
gets
the thing, right? Like when you study history, you learn that politics is no more volatile today than it was 200 years ago, right? It's just that 200 years ago, like you pointed out, Kevin, the word traveled slow. Everything was done via newspapers, and it took a while for word to get around. Now it's instant gratification, and and you're good to go. And there's a lot of keyboard warriors out there. By keyboard warriors, I'm referring to people that would say stuff to you online or in a chat room that they would never, ever say to your face, because saying it to your face has consequences.
Yep.
Well,
again, that's where we've lost respect for one another. You can't have a conversation anymore. It has to be, I'm right, you're wrong.
So you look at.
You know what? I think because I want to answer your question. I want. Listen, Tom, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean by the mentality, though, right? Is just
yes, you're right.
Yeah, you dork.
So reading here the caning of Charles Sumner here. I mean, it's an example where obviously Preston Brooks just couldn't get his point across, but he had to figure out how to beat that Republican. So used a cane.
Use a cane. Yep. Here's your sign. Yeah, I don't.
And in Donald Trump fashion, was still elected to office.
Yeah. Listen, I hear you, Tom, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, but
so he's right.
Well, no, because I don't think he's right either. I think that
so he's right.
The challenge
kind of a
is
binary argument.
The challenge is, I hate people that say we're the most divided we've ever been. We're not. I mean, we had a civil war, for Christ's sakes. Okay, we had in the 60s. We had riots going on because of the color barrier argument, right? So I mean,
do you remember Chop and Chaz?
Listen,
kind of a riot.
Hold on. Chop and Chaz was a splash in the pan compared to what happened in the South during the 60s.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying we're not cured of riots.
No, I'm not saying we're cured. I'm just saying that this is an ongoing part of American society. And one of the beautiful things about our nation is the fact that we're founded with the idea that if you're not happy, you can push back.
Mm-hmm.
You can stand up, you can protest, and sometimes those protests get out of hand. You know, you have the right to make your opinions heard. The difference is now, and I've said this before, one of the greatest threats to our democracy is this for-profit media.
Oh, agreed.
With
Yes.
their agenda.
Yes.
Because they are milking stories that fit their narrative to get their agenda and not reporting the news, but reporting what they want us to know.
But do you think NPR is any better?
No.
No.
No. Listen, if I want real news coverage,
Mm-hmm.
there's two places I listen to.
Okay.
Okay. One is Outlaw Radio. And two is any news source from outside of this country.
Okay.
Not that they don't have their own biases, they certainly do. But I feel like if I can get a hold of a decent BBC or a decent Al Jazeera was really good. I know that's weird to say, but
Mm-hmm.
Al Jazeera reporting wasn't bad at all. Something outside of here, right? I at least get a cleaner version. They still have their agenda, but I at least get a little cleaner version of it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But Outlaw Radio Network is my first choice for news. If you'd like to call and say that so we can record it and make it a promo, that'd be great. Even if it's not true, I don't care. Anyway. Paul, we only have like 2 minutes. Do you want to get into that other Tara Simmons story really quick, or do you want to wait till after the top of the hour?
No, we'll wait till the top of the hour because it's liable to rattle a few cages.
Wow, really? That's a good teaser for the 9 o'clock hour. Paul's going to rattle cages.
I listen, man. I don't know how else. I mean, I could tell what I never mind. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to leave it alone.
Cages?
Yeah, because what did you say, Lori?
Are these Lexus cages? It's from a song.
Lexus.
Never mind.
I thought you said lick their fingers.
No, Lexus. Cages.
Okay. Yeah. Well, listen, I will tell you this. When I read the headline, I was like, WTF, you got to be effing kidding me. Because I found this one a little hard to believe. And the person who will get the most out of this article isn't in studio tonight. So, Andy, I hope you're listening, dear.
Oh,
she got Kraken tonight.
Yeah, she's at the Kraken game tonight.
Roughing it in a suite, I hear.
Yeah, whatever.
Really?
Wow. Swagger.
Oh.
By the way,
I'm jealous.
She'll have a sweet time.
I need to go to a Kraken game. I've never been, but I should go to a Kraken game. So at least once in my life. I've been to a Sounders game, and soccer's not even a sport. But go ahead.
I've got a Tuesday afternoon hockey match I'm going to watch with Jerry from down at the record store.
Oh, nice.
So Jerry's Canadian.
Does he have a brother named Ben?
I don't believe so.
Okay,
no.
Ben
and he's Jerry as in Gerald, not Jerry as in the communist.
Huh? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm going to learn hockey.
Jerry as in Jerry.
When he gets old, will he
there
be
you go.
geriatric?
He might be.
Yes. All right. Paul loved that joke. All right. More dad jokes coming around the corner.
Because if he breaks something, he can gerrymander it.
By the
you
way,
started it.
At the 10:30 segment, I want you guys to figure out your best dad jokes. Because remember, every show at 10:30, we're doing something different. So this will be dad joke day today. So
is this going to be on AM or?
No, it'll be on AM. Yeah, so we got to be clean. That's why I said dad jokes. Well, it's not the most.
Have you met my dad?
Are clean.
It's not the most offensive 5 minutes in radio. Okay. Get your minds out the gutter, folks. We're going to tell dad jokes at 10:30. We hope you guys are here for that. Or we can play right or racist. You guys decide. But that's normally reserved for the first Sunday of the month.
Are you sure telling dad jokes is the best idea, Kevin?
Why not?
Lori gets it. I'm just saying.
Whatever. All right, we're going to go to the top of the hour news. If you're on AM, please pay attention. There'll be a quiz later. If you're on Facebook, we'll give you some bonus content while the top of the hour news is going. We'll share some more comments from the chat. We'll ask Tom why he's wearing assless chaps and a whole bunch of other good stuff. Paul, I swear to God, I thought we were.
I didn't say your name, Kevin.
I didn't say that. Dude, is out of bounds.
What are you tripping out for?
Out of bounds.
Man,
that reminds me of Relay for Life, Kevin.
Out of bounds. What does?
Chaps and you.
Oh, I know. We'll talk about that on Facebook. Outlaw Radio. We're back after this. This is the Mega Talk Radio Network.
.com.
No, there is no. Stop it.
.com.
Look, every time you do that, you confuse the listeners, okay? So there's an outlawradionetwork.com, okay? But there is no megatalkradionetwork.com, okay? There's outlawradionetwork.com where you can go find past shows, find our really cool store, get some cool merch, buy yourself a sweatshirt or a t-shirt or a thong or a banana hammock or whatever it is you need. But there is no megatalkradionetwork.com.
I think
.com.
actually there is. It just won't get you to Outlaw Radio. There's no link between.
I don't think there's a Megatalk Radio.
No, there
network.
is.
Is there?
Megatalk.
Hold on,
Yeah.
let me look. There is no megatalkradionetwork.com. Is there a Megatalk Radio?
Mega Talk Radio.
Okay, megatalkradio.com is not a valid website
Network.
either. Is megatalk.com?
Mega Talk Radio Network is KITZ. It's
and KGTK.
It might be
Spokane,
1400.com.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways.
there is a megatalk.com, but it's not for us. Is there a mega.com? Is there a maga.com? All right, go ahead, Lori.
Sure that
Boss Baby's mom bought you assless chaps.
Did she?
Yeah, for
the
relay
relay?
life.
Okay, explain what we're doing for the relay. Go ahead. Go ahead, explain it. Because this is for a good cause. I'll embarrass myself. But we have a guest in studio in just a moment.
So Relay for Life, June 8th, 2024, Kevin will be one of our MCs,
Yeah,
or
one
the MC.
I was going to
with
say, are you
Daddy.
partnering me up with somebody that I wasn't aware about?
But anyways, the Outlaw Radio Network team is wearing Outlaw Radio swag and Western wear, and Kevin's wearing assless chaps.
So am I wearing something under the assless chaps?
I am not in charge of your wardrobe.
I think you need to find out what the
Hopefully.
Relay for Life expects me to do.
I think that you should wear our Outlaw Radio briefs.
The boxers?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Or
I
the
can do
boxers,
that. I can do that.
Are they boxers or briefs? I can't
No,
remember.
they're boxers.
I
Okay.
think they're boxer
Yeah.
briefs.
I can wear the yoga pants.
Yeah.
That
No,
would be
no,
sexy.
you don't want to do that.
No,
I
you
could be
don't.
sexy.
There is no room in the. You don't want to do that. I
that'd
tried
be
that
sexy.
once. I tried
that is
once.
see-through.
Listen, and if you want to come
I
down,
don't care
and-
about that part.
If you want to come down
She
and walk in
thinks
the
my
Relay for
crack
Life,
is sexy.
if you want to come down and be in the Relay for Life with us, walk, raise some money for a really good cause, hang out with the Outlaws, we'll
Yes,
totally
Daddy.
let you do that. God, Paul, I hate you. By the way, a reminder: share the show. We didn't get that out, did we? We need to get Kevin Nelson's stuff out.
Kevin Nelson sent me his info.
Okay, we'll get that out. We'll take care of
Yeah.
that tonight.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. Let's check user comments real quick or listener comments really quick. We had a lot of comments tonight. It's just flowing like water.
Beige undies.
Jennifer says beige undies. Whatever. Andrew Kennedy says there's no Outlaw Radio World Arm Wrestling Champ sweatshirts
You're gonna have to get Manscaped.
unless I'm wearing boxers,
Wow.
then I don't have to.
They're
What do
white though.
What do you think it's a? You think it's a dungeon down there? What do you think it is? Like
I don't.
overgrown like Dagobah? Stop it.
I have no idea.
I think Yoda's down there being like, be in the force you will. Shut up.
Yes. Outlaw Radio you listen to, yes.
Sean said all chaps are assless. If they had asses, they'd be pants. Okay, true to that.
No, this boy's not assless.
Paul Tracy wants to hear daddy jokes, so I'll let you take up the standard for that.
G. Andrew is predicting the Lions.
No, he's
will win.
saying that Paul's idea of rattling cages is to
Oh.
predict that the Lions will win the Super Bowl.
They're due.
Fair enough. Hey, who won today, Daddy?
I know.
Football.
Did Detroit win?
We're not
Who
answering
won
the
the
question
football?
because he put daddy in there, and that's
I
gross.
won.
It's just-
I won. I
Yeah.
won. I won.
No.
Who won football?
What teams won? I mean, doesn't that, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Won? I don't know
Baltimore,
who won,
San
so I
Francisco
asked-
won yesterday. Detroit and Kansas City won today.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
And
missed
by
the
the way,
case.
before you
Daddy.
brag too much, Paul, you picked him right.
Yeah.
I picked him right. Tom picked him right. Dennis picked him right. Trojo picked him right.
Lori picked him right.
Lori, no, you picked Buffalo.
Yeah, but I doubled down on
Yeah,
Kansas
but
City.
you didn't get all 5
Oh
possible
my
games. You only got
gosh.
4. So, yeah.
Whatever.
And Tom picked Buffalo as a double downer. He'd have been perfect. Andy didn't. Yeah, Andy would. Yeah, all of that. So, All right. So, Paul, we have a surprise guest in studio, so we're going to bring him in a moment, and then we'll include him in the conversation about this. But listen,
For sure. Yeah.
you got to go easy on this guest. He's a bit of a snowflake. Stick around. Outlaw Radio back after this.
Network.com.
Stop that
All
crap,
right, Daddy.
I swear. You
DaddyNetwork.com. Daddies. Daddy.
All right,
daddy.
we're doing a special intro. So we'll say Outlaw brought to you by
The White House. Creepy.
At White House Senior Living, our residents feel right at home. Our vibrant facility offers delightful activities and outings, round-the-clock professional care, and exquisite house-made meals.
Well, I've been eating everything that's put in front of me. I've been eating all Italian foods, basically.
And ice cream.
And ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream.
White House Senior Living, where residents feel like presidents.
And you're back.
I don't know what to do with that, man. That's awesome. That's great. Did you never mind. I'm not even going to go there. Hey, look, everybody. Robert Parker joins us in studio. Hello, Robert. How are you?
Well, hey, Kevin. How are you?
Long time no see, buddy.
Oh, I don't know.
He's gone snowflake now?
Yeah, I was just trying to throw you off, Paul. Just trying to throw you
that
off.
totally caught me off guard.
I know.
Hey, enough snowflakes will kill.
That's right.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Good. Did you listen to the first hour of the show?
Of course I did.
Oh, just checking. You weren't in the chat, so I never know.
I checked in with the chat.
Oh, did you? I didn't see it. So Paul has another story about Tara Simmons he's going to bring out, but I want to ask you two questions really quick first.
Sure.
One is a softball question. One is not.
Okay.
So the softball question is Tara Simmons' bill.
Who's on first?
About convicted felons in prison voting. Your
That's
thoughts?
her people. That's her people.
Well, yeah.
That's what she says right off.
But I'm asking what you think about the proposal.
Oh, I think she's just nuts.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, I think she's nuts.
Do you? Okay.
I can't even figure out how her mind works. I really can't.
Talk right in your mic. Talk right.
Yeah, I can't even figure out how her mind really works. Because what she wants to do is take some of the most violent people and let them go. And it's not only that one. She's on the sexual violent predator thing too, of letting them go.
Now you're giving away the next story, Robert.
Hold on, yeah, he hasn't brought up the next story yet, so hold off on that. For God bless it. There goes your teaser.
Well, if you look at it, she wants to let the murderers and all of that stuff.
But that's not what she's proposed in this bill. So all this bill would do is allow anybody that's in prison currently to vote while they're incarcerated, to allow them to vote. Now, my argument is, and I'm not going to die on this hill, right? This is not something I'm so attached to that I'm like, we're going to go out and brawl about it.
Right.
But I would argue that the Constitution, the 14th Amendment's really clear that all Americans are provided equal protection under the law. And it doesn't give the caveat of saying, unless you're in prison or unless you've been convicted of a felony. And I think that carries over to the Second Amendment for gun rights. I think that carries over to a whole bunch of stuff that we have slowly just chipped away at the Constitution.
I think you're stretching.
I
think you're stretching.
Well, I haven't stretched in years. Have you seen me?
There's all kinds of stuff that isn't covered in the Constitution. But everything that's not covered in the Constitution falls to the states, right?
Right, but this is covered in the Constitution. This says the 14th Amendment, all Americans are afforded due process under the law. So that's not a 10th Amendment thing, because.
So tell me, Trump is getting due process.
Well, hold on. Don't whataboutism.
No,
stay with me on this
topic.
No, and I've said on this show before that Trump should be on every single ballot because he hasn't been convicted of anything. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about whether or not we're going to deprive Americans of rights, regardless of reasons why, when it violates the Constitution to do so.
I think you lose certain sections of your rights when you are a felon and go to prison.
Based on what?
Based on the law.
But what law? Because the Constitution doesn't give that, though. The Constitution says that everybody gets due process under the law.
The Constitution doesn't give a lot of things, though.
Right, but if you're gonna violate that, then don't you need an amendment?
Not necessarily.
Wouldn't you need an amendment on the Constitution that says when somebody's convicted of a felony, they're not allowed to vote?
We clarify things all the time that are in the Constitution.
See, I don't think there should be. I don't think felons should be.
I would love to go back to just Constitution.
Yes, I would.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, perfect. That's what I'm arguing for.
America would go back to being the greatest country on the planet
we
with
still are.
nobody. Oh, no, I didn't say we weren't, but nobody even close to us. Because I think the beauty of the Constitution can't be it can't be exceeded.
I thought for a minute you were going to pull a Michelle Obama and say, I'm finally proud of my country or something.
Well, you know what I call Michelle, so.
You be nice. Okay. Secondly, and this is not your softball. Did you hear the conversation regards to Caldeer and the report and that whole thing?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm actually doing some stuff with that.
Okay. So again, I'm not a fan. I don't like her. I've made that clear on the show. It's not a secret. I should have a T-shirt that says that.
Sure. And at times I haven't been a fan.
Tell me why.
But I don't believe this report can be taken credibly in any way, shape, or form. When you have a Democrat lawmaker and a Democrat-controlled legislature requesting an investigation of their own hand-picked lawyer, who then reports back to the Democrats about a seat held by a Republican that they would love to have switch seats.
It's worse than
aisles.
that.
Oh, it is. Okay,
who's
tell
the
me.
complainants? Okay.
Okay.
Who is the complainants? It is the caucus attorney,
Mhm.
and it is the caucus chief of staff. Who was the girl in the restroom? That was one of our caucus staff.
Yeah.
Why are they having official conversations in the ladies' room? Since when did we start holding people accountable for what goes on in a restroom?
Mm-hmm.
Did
they make
Trump
a formal
said, grab him by the pussy?
Did they make? He did say that though.
Yeah.
Did they make a formal complaint?
Yes, they
the
did.
caucus members did.
To Bernard. Crap, I can't remember Bernard's last name, but Bernard, who is the House clerk.
Okay, so help me out with this then, because this might change my mind then. So the caucus members who were in the bathroom are Republican caucus members.
Correct.
Okay, I just like saying the word caucus over and over again.
There
so
were
just
two
bear with
different
me.
incidents, but this one was a caucus staff, yes.
Republican caucus staff.
Yes.
And then the Republican caucus staff member was so offended by what happened that they complained to the clerk.
Are we on radio or are we on Facebook?
We're on radio.
Radio.
Okay. And my statement will be a little different.
Thank you, Robert.
Not different in content, but different in language.
The staff in Olympia are prissy.
Prissy. Okay.
Really
Yes.
prissy.
Yes, they are.
And it's a fine balancing act of who's in charge down there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And the caucus staff that made this complaint are fairly senior. So they took it serious. But what is it really? That's what you should really know. And when they said the Spokane restroom, the Spokane airport restroom, you know where they were coming from? They were coming from the Republican reorg that was forced forward, that JT put up a reorg right after everybody went into
JT Wilcox,
office.
former minority
leader. Right.
Yeah.
He was struggling to keep his position as minority leader. So right after the elections, before any of the new Republicans could get their feet underneath them, he called for a reorg.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had to go to Spokane. So they don't usually have reorgs that fast.
They're trying to punish people by making them
No,
go to
they were
Spokane,
they
weren't
were
they?
trying. JT was trying to keep his leadership in place with all the new members.
No, I get that. I'm just saying making them go to Spokane feels like
And
punishment.
JT and Michelle have had a long-standing battle going back and forth. She has some true blue ADA issues.
Yeah.
Okay. Things like the elevators. Okay. She can't see the stairs to walk up. So literally she would have to feel her way up the stairs. They're jacking with her if she puts her cards into the elevator and the elevator doesn't work.
Yeah.
That's not right.
Yeah.
She then complains to the Bernard, the House clerk's office, and it doesn't get resolved. She goes to the caucus staff and JT doesn't get it resolved. So she then makes a complaint.
Mm-hmm.
She should make a complaint. Then JT starts swinging at her. So when this little tiff came up, it got exploded into being huge. And you know me, I have been very, very critical of Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
We may have settled our old issues, but I don't pull any punches. If I thought Michelle was out of line, did she say some things she shouldn't have? Yeah, probably. But she's also in the restroom after a very heated caucus that JT was struggling to keep minority leader position. And there were words flying all over the place. And she wasn't the only one that said some extremely cross and extremely ugly words. Why only Michelle? because I know a lot of what happened in that caucus room as well.
Yeah.
And it wasn't what Michelle did was not as bad as what happened in the official caucus room.
But as far as the investigation,
they targeted her.
You said the clerk.
Yes.
Okay. Is the clerk Republican Party member or Democrat Party member?
Nonpartisan, but he's hired.
Who?
Yeah. He's basically hired by the Democrats.
By the
because
Democrats.
they are the majority.
And that's my argument about this
Right.
whole thing, right? You're basically asking the Democrats to conduct an investigation over a seat that you know that if you come out negative about the seat holder and they're a
Right.
Republican, you could hopefully, for Democrats' viewpoint, make a
Oh, yeah. This is all about election damage.
Yeah.
And what makes it worse is that our caucus should be protecting Michelle and they're not.
Yeah, I'm surprised they went to the clerk. Why they didn't handle it internally?
Well, that's because we get back to the prissy staff.
Mhm.
The prissy staff, even though they're your caucus staff, they work for Bernard, which is a conflict of interest starting off the bat.
Do you think the KCRP, and I know that are you a member of the KCRP at this
I'm
point?
a member, but I am not an officer.
You're not. You're a member.
I intentionally stepped out of leadership.
You're not just the president, but you're a client. Okay, just kidding. You're a member, but not leadership. Okay. Do you believe? 2-point question.
Okay.
Do you believe the KCRP would support putting somebody to run against her as they have done in the past?
No.
Do you think they will, and do you think they should?
No and no.
No and no. Okay. All right.
And
do you
my
think
reasoning
Alicia
behind
Beeler
that-
would come back and run against her? Please.
No.
Okay. Had to ask.
I talked to her last week.
Did you?
I tried to get her to come back too.
Did you? Yeah.
She she wants to come back.
Yeah.
And she's looking at jobs. And
We
all
want
that
her
kind
to
of
come
good
back.
Stuff. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She is a beautiful person. I don't mean just attractive, but I mean
she's
she
good
is
all
a
the way around.
beautiful person.
She's good peeps.
She's a liberty leaning lady.
She's good peeps. Good peeps.
One of my closest friends.
But you don't think they should, and you don't think they
no
will?
And no.
Okay.
Okay. We got bigger fish to fry. Right now, we have a nice setup. Okay. We have Michelle Caldier and Spencer Hutchins. They work good together.
Mm-hmm.
They are a good team. I love Jesse, but Jesse lost, and Michelle and Jesse cost us a lot in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Spencer is working really well with Michelle. They are pushing bills. They are getting stuff done for us in Kitsap, and it's working. 35th, we've got Dan and Travis and Drew, and they are all working as a team. And those three are working with our other two in the 26th. So we have 5 representatives out of 6 that are all firing on the same cylinders that are working for us in South Kitsap.
Mm-hmm.
That's what really needs to be protected and to actually look at as the bonus for us. And even to Emily Randall's credit, she's starting to work with the other members.
Yeah, she's not going to be there long though.
No, I think she's I think she's headed to Congress.
You got bigger fish to fry.
But Michelle, the garbage of Michelle having a liberal voting record, that's not true.
No. I didn't say she had a liberal voting record.
Okay. There's
I said in the past the party has had an issue with her voting record.
Yeah. But if you actually look at her record, her voting record is more conservative than Jesse's is.
So you brought up Jesse twice now. So
He's like a brother to me.
Well, no, I love Jesse
Yeah.
Young. We've talked about
I
him
do
on
too.
the show before. Is there any word on on anything he may be doing politically? That I've heard a lot of rumors, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, last
go on
I
rumors.
heard, he's going to be running in the 26th against Spencer.
Against Spencer to get his old seat back.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the last I heard. I don't know that as a matter of fact, but I've heard it from. Probably,
So he hasn't officially filed.
No.
To date.
He's-
Okay.
I've heard that from about a dozen that are really close to both
Boy,
of us.
I mean, if you're a Republican in the 26th, that's got to be the worst news.
The Republican is 26 has always been a fighting 26. This
Mhm.
isn't new.
No, not. I mean,
we can't have politics without fighting in the 26.
No, it's like the worst news, right? I mean, you want to, if you're, regardless of the party, you want to protect the seat.
Right.
You want to keep it in your party's hands because it helps you proceed with the agenda that you have and the legislative priorities that you put into place. And in a long stretch, you're doing your opposition a big favor because in order for Jesse to get elected, he has to show why Spencer should not be elected.
Yep.
And in order for Spencer to get elected, he has to show why Jesse should not be elected. And whoever wins is already going to have a whole bunch of stuff written down from somebody in their own party saying, well, here's why this guy shouldn't be elected.
And Spencer's getting a lot done.
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying, I'm not siding with either one of them. I'm just saying
right.
by making the accusations or the issues, you're giving fodder to the opposing party.
And I'm probably going to sit pretty neutral in that.
Are you?
Well, Jesse's like a brother of mine and has been for years.
Yeah.
We may not see eye to eye right now, but he's still like a brother to me. And am I going to go and attack Spencer? Absolutely not. Spencer is doing a good job, and I feel my job is to protect him. Does that mean I'm going to attack Jesse? No.
You need to we should get Spencer back on the show. We haven't talked to him since before the election.
Question for you, Robert.
Yeah.
If Emily is going for Derek Kilmer's seat, and there's two other people, Franz and Dean, also going for Kilmer's seat, why doesn't Jesse set his sights on that?
Because it's a D+6.
Okay.
They have a 6% advantage going into the game, and that's going to be for a Republican. That is going to be one heck of a
go into which seat?
To climb up.
Which seat are you asking?
Emily Randall's.
Emily Randall's seat's not up for re-election.
Oh no, I thought you were talking about
But
the Kilmer.
Isn't it going to be if she goes up for Derek Kilmer's
No,
seat?
I believe the Democratic Party picks somebody to take over for the rest of the term.
Oh, the rest of her term.
misunderstood
Okay.
the question then.
Okay.
Emily, Drew McEwen, and Hillary Franz are all going for the 6th congressional seat.
So if Emily gets elected,
then she will vacate Senate. But it's what's called right now a free run because it's out of her election year.
Right.
Because they're 4-year things. So she gets a free run at that, and there's no harm.
But if she gets elected, does the Democrat Party then pick somebody to take over?
Correct.
Okay.
Or it's not put up for a midterm election at all. It's just somebody's appointed.
Appointed.
And then Jesse could run in
Later,
2 more years.
down the road. Yeah.
Yep.
My mistake. I thought she was up for re-election.
It's gonna get kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tara, when you go through Kitsap, just starting at North Kitsap, you've got Tara, who's got just a ton of crazy, but she's also has a ton of money. And she's got her people.
Yeah.
And New York, the state of New York tends to swing in for Tara Simmons, not Kitsap County.
Yeah.
She got a lot of that lawyer money and a lot of that progressive money. But then you look at Nance. Nance is new. He's Democrat. I won't call him a hard progressive. He's a fairly nice guy. He's a lot more left than I would like.
Right.
But he's not crazy. And, I don't mind Democrats around that aren't crazy. And
I don't think Tara's going to be in the county much longer. I think that the party has much bigger plans for her. I think.
I think you're overthinking what Tara's capable of.
Well,
when you spend hours and hours and hours and hours listening to her on hearings.
Yeah, but when did it come down to what they're capable of? It comes down to what the party thinks they can market them for. Emily Randall is a dumpster fire. Emily Randall's awful. She has no place in D.C., but the people in charge like her, so they're going to elevate her to that. And they're basically going to put her as high up as they can put her till she falls on her face.
Yeah, if Emily goes to the 6th, I think that'll actually help us in Kitsap.
Probably.
Because Emily is a big fish in a small pond here. But the minute she goes to D.C., she's going to be a tiny fish in a big shark's pool.
And I just feel like she can't wait to line up with AOC.
And
she'll
be a lot like
she's going to be the new pledge.
Kilmer doesn't do anything for us. Well, very, very little. His big accomplishment was that he was the chairman of a subcommittee to investigate modernizing Congress. And after a couple of years of them doing that, they closed it down and they did nothing. They just burned millions of dollars in his little task force committee.
Yeah.
That's his big call to fame.
All right, hold on. I want to get back because Paul, we're ignoring you. I'm sorry. That's not very nice of me. I'm a lousy co-host, man. I'm sorry. I suck. Would you bring up
your promo?
Cut it now.
Would you
$20 is $20.
20 bucks. What happens on the show stays in the show. Would you go ahead and talk about the story with Tara, the other Bill, and then we'll get it started now. We'll carry it around through the bottom of the hour into the next segment.
You want me to get started talking about it now?
I think so, yeah, because if we never get started on, we're never going to get there. I mean, if we did, if me and Parker could just talk like this all night and just ignore everybody else in the room, the show would go till 3 a.m. It's what we do.
I don't know. Lori's kind of cute. I like to talk to her more.
Aw, thanks.
Philip, you should have had that.
I have no words.
70s porn music ready, but all right, whatever. Go ahead, Paul.
All right. So this article is actually written by Jason Rantz, our friend off of 770.
Your friend.
Well, hey, I mean, if you hadn't called him out for, never mind. I'm not going to. Democrats prioritized a new bill that demands, quote, person-first language to address how violent sex offenders are labeled. Yes, folks, you heard that correctly. Person-first language. It's time to address how violent sex offenders are labeled. The intent is to stop defining a sex offender by his or her crime. No, dude, you're not a rapist. You're a helpless person, attracted person, right? I don't know. The intent is to stop defining a sex offender by his or her crime so they can destigmatize them. It may not even be the most offensive piece of the legislation. Among the prescribed reforms, HB 2177 changes the name of the Sex Offender Policy Board, or the SOPB. If passed, oh boy, it will now be called the Sex Offense Policy Board. It gives the dubious impression that the board reviews focuses on sex offenses and not the criminals who commit them. HB 2177 also adds a convicted sex offender to the SOPB, with proponents arguing the felon's lived experiences are invaluable. Yeah, to someone. It does not restrict the membership to level 1 sex offenders, those who are least likely to recommit a sex offense. The bill also allows the most dangerous felons, or level 3 sex offenders, to join. The sex offender will serve alongside another new representative to the board, victims of sex crimes. The SOPB was intended to offer sex offender management to keep the community safe, but it's strayed far from its intent, instead focused on how to advocate for sex offenders. God, did I just read that?
You did.
It's strayed so far. Oh, they advocate for sex. Oh, me running, man. All right. The SOPB legislation is spearheaded by State Rep. Go ahead, Kevin.
Tara Simmons.
Oh, congratulations. A Democrat who served time for 3 felony convictions for possession of controlled substances and retail theft in 2011. She pushed to have a sex offender serve alongside sex offense victims and their advocates on the board. Can't imagine anything having gone wrong with that idea. Would have been perfect.
Let's let the perverts evaluate the
perverts.
perverts.
Hold on. We're going to break. Phil busted out the bad music. Hold on. We're back after this. Is Outlaw Radio. Hold on, Paul. I could not have been the worst timing for that music.
I said we needed some way creepier music than that.
I was like, what is the creepiest thing we got? It's in the library. I don't know. At your local junior high,
I am so confused by this bill.
Oh, there's worse ones out there too.
But this one's so
all right.
confusing to me.
Let me finish reading it, and then you can ask. Yes, go ahead. What's your question?
I just knee-jerk response is for anyone in the room, anyone listening on chat.
Bueller?
What's your knee-jerk response on this? Like, just like an emotional response.
Why the hell would you be having
You want to party together?
a sex offender sit alongside a victim of a sexual offender? What the hell would anybody even think
Tara
to even
is a
suggest
sex
that?
offender.
It kind of makes me sick.
Is that what she was?
Well, Tara lured a guy into a hotel room with the promise of sex. And then 2 of her buddies beat him up and put him in the hospital.
That's right.
To me, she is a sex offender.
Although
I don't care if they put.
although
I don't care
not
if they
convicted of it.
Right. I don't care if they put the label on her or not.
All right, we're going to come back on the AM radio side. Robert, do you want to swear really quick before we come back? Do you want to get that out of your system now?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. By the way, it has been 66 days since we violated an FCC rule. We are only 34
All right, I'll do it
days
as soon as we come back.
from doing
As soon as we
a
come
show
back.
without pants. Outlaw Radio back after this on the Mega Talk Radio Network, not.com.
OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
Suckers. Outlaw Radio. Robert just asked what kind of laptop I have. It's a Dragonware.
I'll get you online, or I'll get you offline with that one. I
Okay.
like the lit up keys.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
And
It's
we have K-Dog here with his drag on.
state of the art computer. Because as I've joked before, remember, porn does not download itself. Just kidding. All right, Paul joining us. Did Paul drop?
Doesn't perform itself either.
I think Paul's internet.
We lost Paul.
No, his internet was fixed, but now it's not. Ta-da! All right. So, were you talking your thoughts about the bill before we went to commercial? Did you have anything else you wanted to say? Or we were talking about the bill that Tara Simmons has proposed that would, hold on before you answer. Robert, can you explain this again in a way that an idiot moron like me will understand? Because a lot of this sounds just like renaming, right? We don't want to call it a sex offender. We want to give them a friendlier name, right? So it's not quite
it's
not
like
quite
the
as
perverts
abrasive.
being called minor attracted
Right.
Adults or something like that.
I would agree that some naming clarity wouldn't be a bad idea.
Great. Let's call him Monster.
No, hold on. Here's why I say that. We have this blanket term for sex offender, right?
Yeah, pervert.
Well, hold on. We have a blanket term for sex offender. And a sex offender could be somebody who is 20 and hooks up with a 15-year-old. And it could be somebody who jumps out of bushes and rapes little girls. And there's a very wide breadth there between the two.
That's why we have levels.
Well, right. But I don't even know what this looks like, but I'm not opposed to some level of clarity in the titles we assign to that instead of just like a blanket sex offender, because it leaves so much in the wind. You know what I mean? Like, I want to know, this guy's a sex offender. That means he did something really, really, really bad. And I know that because of the title that's been assigned to them. But instead we give this blanket to, if you're caught peeing in the street while drunk,
you
can be a level 1 sex
you're
offender.
level 1 sex offender.
Which is ridiculous.
Which is dumb. And that's all I'm
ridiculous.
saying. So I'm not opposed to some kind of clarification within the naming regulations of how they want to call that. And maybe they break sex offenders or the registry into two different groups. So you have sex offenders, which are the really, really bad dudes, and you have sex
drunk alley peers
or whatever you call it, but in a way that differentiates. You understand what I'm saying?
The overall flavor of what Tara's doing
is
sick.
Excessive.
To me.
Yeah.
To me, the 4 levels of sex offenders, and I say 4 because most people don't recognize that there are 4. There's your level 1s, 2s, 3s, and then there's the sexually violent predator.
Oh,
that is over and
there
above.
was only 3. Okay.
The sexually violent predators, those are the ones on McNeil Island. Those are the ones that she's trying to get a path off of McNeil for.
Right. Well, was she behind what was going on down in Thurston County? Was she one of the driving
she wasn't
forces
behind that.
that?
She's
No?
behind
Okay.
legislation now trying to get them off.
But the group that were trying to get them moved to group homes in Thurston County, she wasn't.
No,
she
that was the
wasn't behind
AG's
that.
office and the governor's office.
Yeah.
And
fair enough.
that stuff.
And wasn't it also in Enumclaw as well?
Yep, and
yeah.
Nimclaw as well.
Yeah.
And, we had one not to the severe level, but up here in Ballsbo, too.
Okay.
Yeah, we got an LRA up there.
Also, Paul said he got a
It should
phone
be on
call.
Bainbridge.
Huh?
It should be on Bainbridge.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. We should put it right on Jay Inslee's residential
right next
street.
door.
Paul got a phone call, which effed up his internet connection. He's
Got it.
rebooting. He'll join us shortly.
Probably from Tara Simmons.
Maybe, probably not.
I just look at and I try and give the benefit of the doubt to Tara. Because
Mhm.
I did have a meeting with her and I talked to her about a whole bunch of different bills and ideas and things like that. And that's not the same Tara that I've seen.
No?
No. She was very proactive when we had our little sit down. And, I had great hope for Tara. And she has done nothing since that day but greatly disappoint me.
So I'm surprised you said. Can I give you my thoughts on what I think of Tara?
Sure.
We've interviewed Tara a couple times. I've had conversations with her. I like Tara. Now, take the political out of it. That's not what I'm talking about. But as a person, I really like Tara. I think Tara is compassionate. She's understanding. She's very intelligent. She's very well spoken. She's a smart cookie. Okay, I really believe that about Tara. And everything that she's proposed legislatively, everything she's gotten behind, I think if anybody didn't see this coming, your eyes were closed. Because
I don't think anybody saw it at this level coming.
Oh, I did.
I didn't.
She swore she was going to run on criminal justice reform, and so when somebody says to me criminal justice reform and they are a convicted felon, their life experiences, for good or bad, have tainted their view of criminal justice. And I knew she was going to be extreme. I didn't know to what ways it would present itself.
To me, there's
but I
a
knew
difference between helping people that are incarcerated and helping sexual monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And did I think that she was going to help people that were incarcerated? Yes. And I'm not so opposed to some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've got some kids that have went through the whole programs and all that kind of good stuff, and they're just waiting for time to be released. Well, if they've basically declared them as they've recovered and they're on the straight and narrow and have been for a few years, let's figure out how we get them out of there.
Mm-hmm.
That's one level of help, but she's helping the monsters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She's helping the drive-by shooters.
Yeah.
She's helping the sexually violent predators to get them back out on the streets. And they're killers and they're rapists and they're people that have destroyed lives and ended lives and destroyed families.
Mm-hmm.
That's not cool.
Yeah. And I wonder where her support for that will come from. You know what I mean?
New York City.
Well, no. I mean legislatively, right? Because she has to have co-sponsors on bills.
Sure.
And she's going to have people.
Goodwin.
She's going to have people.
Goodman.
She's going to have enough people vote for it. And I wonder if there's enough Democrats that will vote for her bills, especially the second one, that are willing to put their names on a vote that can be used against them later. You know what I mean? That's,
and I don't understand how the Democrats get behind some of the stuff they get behind, because some of them, they know it's doing real damage.
Oh, listen.
And it may be going nationally as a wave of what progressives or Democrats are doing, but they know. Excuse me. They know the damage that they're creating, and I can't understand why they.
I at least on the
they bully each other. They bully each other into it, man.
Listen, on the felon voting bill, Democrats are going to line up hand over fist to support that.
I believe
because
90%
of those felons are going to vote for Democrats because Democrats are softer on crime. They want to reduce some things, especially if you're in there for a drug offense. They're going to look at Democrats as trying to legalize and lessen drug penalties. They're going to, hey, if I elect this Democrat and I have a dog in this fight, they might reduce my penalty. They might make it easier for me to get out.
And what a lot of people don't really look at is if you read a lot of the pre-files, the things that the Republicans put in that never see the light of day, there are some tremendous ideas in there that they can't even get a hearing for them just because they've got an R behind their name. And that's wrong. Travis has got a whole bunch of bills out there. And I think I've talked to you about our felons for 500.
Mm-hmm.
That one's a beautiful bill. It targets the right people for guns. Basically, if you turn in a felon that's in possession of a firearm through Crime Stoppers, the cops go out and pick up that gun because that felon's not supposed to have it. They'll pay you $500 if they can recover the firearm.
Oh, hell yeah. What's that number?
Happens anonymously, 2332. House Bill 2332. And if it is a crime gun, that's been used in a shooting, they'll pay you $5,000.
Oh wow.
Oh,
And
wow.
there's some reason.
Let me go get involved in a shooting before I turn it in because I could use the extra cash.
Yeah, so there's the reasoning behind that is a lot of people don't understand the huge cost to put a murder case or a homicide case or a drive-by shooting case up in the courts. You're looking at $500,000 plus. If you've got the gun in custody, that cost goes way down because you've got good hard evidence going into it.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes
It's a great
good
point to make,
financial
Robert.
sense, but it's also targeting the right people, the people that are causing the harm, not some innocent guy that's got a firearm that he put in his dresser drawer,
Mm-hmm.
or the girl that wants to buy a firearm because she's got some kind of crazy boyfriend from 2 years ago that just showed back up. It's targeting the people that are out there committing the crimes and that have already been proven through courts as committing the crimes and aren't supposed to have firearms.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think Tara and Emily are both short for this.
I think Emily has legs that she's going up. I don't feel the same thing with Tara, but then again, I
don't do it, Kevin. Don't do
Emily's
it.
Facebook page, and she was warming her feet in front of her gas fireplace, which is basically the pilot light starter for a wood fireplace, because her heat went out.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, one other quick thing about Tara. She posts on Facebook a lot about all of her travels.
Yeah.
I'm not faulting her for traveling, but as a public
Traveling's
employee,
expensive.
boy, it looks.
My problem was when she was
questionable,
taking
right?
cruises with her LA.
With her legal aid?
With her legislative aid.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh?
I'm not accusing her of anything.
I'm not accusing her of anything either.
Optically, it's
the optics suck.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if he's paying for his, she's paying for hers, if the state's paying for it, state's not paying for it. I have no idea. And I'm not making that claim. I just start getting really funky when the staff start traveling with the elected leaders on personal vacations and taking cruises together. That just is a little too close for me.
Or they go to Finland and check out transportation models.
Oh, yeah. Leas.
Yeah.
And he still won't tell us how much it cost.
Oh.
He did it on our dime, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a lot. And he took his whole family.
Oh, yeah. And he visited his relatives over there. Yeah.
Because he's of that descent.
Because you're a Democrat.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like Republicans don't go on curious vacations either, Clarence Thomas. Okay.
We're talking about Washington State.
No, I'm just talking about in general.
Technically, he's not a Republican.
Yeah, Kevin, stick to the topic.
Yes, he is. Whether or not he has the R next to his name.
Don't pick on Clarence. Just
I
just
could say that
just
about
because
you,
of the
Kevin.
color
You're
of his
not- You're a
skin.
Republican just because you don't have an R next to it, and you won't admit to it. We already know that.
No, I'm not a Republican. We've already been over this.
He's turning
I
gold.
support too many things that are not Republican.
Yeah, he's more gold than red.
So he's more crazy than ever.
Well, it explains why I'm lonely.
Yeah, that
because
you
I'm
can get
more of a
lonely.
libertarian. It explains why
Yes,
I'm
you
alone.
could get lonely being a libertarian. Yep.
If I, what happens if I join the Libertarian Party? It would increase the percentage of libertarians in the county by 50%.
Yeah, I'm not going back.
No.
I did my stint.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we'll see if Paul has anything else on this topic. Coming up at 10 o'clock, though, I am going to talk to you about Trumpy poo and DeSanti poo, and a really interesting segment that I heard on a CNN show that actually might be really true. I'll explain more why in a minute. Outlaw Radio, or I'll explain it at 10. It's a teaser. Work with me.
AM.
Wow.
Robert asked.
Outlaw Radio. Shut up, Robert.
I can't behave.
I know. Obviously.
Just
I'm
not
glad-
my
thanks for
DNA.
coming in, by the way. It's good
Well,
to
you
see
invited me.
I did, and then I forgot. We didn't confirm, and I didn't remember anything. And
You told me 21st at 9.
I'm sure I did.
It's okay, Robert.
I have a
His
lot
mind's
of things going on.
And you know, I was talking to him on the
I have
telephone.
a runaway
I was
teenage
standing right there
daughter, a
next
sick
to my
mom,
calendar.
day job, second
21st
job.
at 9.
Yeah. I got a lot going on.
And you know, you
I
should really feel
apologize.
privileged because I showed 3 minutes early and I'm always 15 minutes late.
You know, it's pretty impressive. When are you going to run for office, Robert?
Not.
Ever.
Nope.
Why?
Because I like doing what I do.
You're the FOIA king. We're going to get you a crown. This is FOIA king.
Oh, dude. Well, you know, I help people. That's what I do.
Yes,
okay,
you
it's
do.
not just with
That's true.
FOIA. It's I help people. You know, like you saw the teacher that did the Trump case, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Well, you know where that tape came from?
From where?
That Brandy Cruz was using?
Yeah.
From Dana Cruz.
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys have met Dana.
No.
No, I've heard of her.
Him.
Sorry, him. Sorry.
Dana Dana shows up with his equipment at all kinds of different events. He's a from Puget Sound Patriots.
All right, hold on.
Very-
We're coming back, right? Or are we already back? 30 seconds, we're back? Okay, go ahead.
And a very constitutional dude.
Mhm.
And he says, "Hey, I'm going to go down and tape this thing." And I originally was going to go, but then I couldn't. And Dana then gets a hold of me and says, "Dude, I got some good footage," but he didn't know what to do with it.
Paul, at Robert's age, not being able to go when he planned on it is normal. Outlaw Radio, we're back after this. All right, Outlaw Radio. Shh. God bless him.
Right.
Outlaw Radio.
I expected Robert to go all
Gesundheit.
Chris. I mean, I thought he was going to go all Will Smith on your butt, man, for that comment.
You didn't have a chance to. I was.
It was a short break.
I timed it very well. It was.
And,
it was on
and
purpose.
I don't do stuff on camera. Too many
Robert,
witnesses.
Kevin has a new nickname, Robert. He wants to
And?
tell jokes about Kevin's new nickname is Daddy.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Okay, you know
Well, I
what?
guess that's better than
You know what?
mommy.
Hold on, listen. Here's the deal, Paul. You continue to come back to this. I've asked you not to. I begged you not to. I think for those listeners who do not know what we're talking about, I believe the grossest thing that a woman can call her husband, boyfriend, spouse, lover, whatever, is daddy. I think that is the grossest thing in the world. It is sick. It's gross, and it literally makes me nauseous. And Paul, knowing how I feel about it, one of my best friends in the world, he doesn't care. He just keeps going right back to that well. And I haven't said anything mean about him today. I've been nice. I've been accommodating, but he just keeps bringing that crap up. And one of these days, I'm gonna disconnect this call. I'm just gonna kick him out.
Kevin,
No,
are you
Daddy,
one of
don't.
those
It hurts.
Republicans? Kevin, are you like one of those Republicans that, you know, they go on the straight and narrow in public and then behind the scenes it's all porno and hookers and everything else? And daddies?
Oh, you just got rid.
Did you do that?
I just kicked him.
You didn't ban him, did you?
No, I just
Answer
kicked
your
him.
question,
Oh, okay,
Robert.
okay.
I would think so. but
Yeah.
I have no
Okay, he
knowledge.
can come back.
I just kicked him. Don't try me, Paul.
I just answered.
Why kick a guy when
Robert's
he's down?
question for you.
In
What's
the
that?
feed.
What'd you say?
I just answered the question.
See, I'm not buying off on that.
What
Oh,
question?
okay.
Yeah, you know, I'm not buying off on it at all. You know, anybody who puts pictures of his bathtub with his TV over the top of his bathtub from his master bedroom, something wrong there, dude.
What is wrong with me having a TV above my soaker? But hold on, let's be clear.
I don't post it on Facebook.
No, I like to post it to show everybody what I got that they don't have. Because guess what? Robert is posting messages on his page about how awesome his wife is. I ain't got one of those. Rub my nose in it. Paul is posting things on his page about all of his animals. I don't have any of those. Rub my nose in it.
Keep your
The
nose
only
away
thing
from
I
people's
have.
wives and animals.
That's right. The only things I have to brag about are my game room, which is hella cool, and the fact that I have a cool TV above a really cool soaking jetted bathtub. So if that's all I have, suck it up and deal with it.
Yes.
No, Kevin, in your defense, I mean, having a TV bathtub, I've seen it. There's
It's
this little lady
glorious.
at church. She's got a little TV
Dude, I
above her
don't, do
bathtub.
the, I don't do the TV. I just throw the laptop over on the counter. This is
Whatever.
good.
Until you drop it in the water. Yeah. No, let's do something great about sitting in the bathtub.
You forgot.
With the jets on, watching some Yellowstone. Come on, man. That's good stuff.
You completely forgot.
What's that?
You've got some beautiful daughters.
I do have wonderful daughters.
You went right over that. Buzzed right over that shit.
Oh.
Bum, 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 bum. Gesundheit.
Tom, would you update that?
That is
the German word for virgin.
All right.
We do have a female chat person who says that the TV above the tub is gross.
I don't know why it's gross.
I don't know.
Clearly, gross is a vague term for Dawn in the chat.
Well,
but
and
Dawn
I think
also
people
accused
are
me.
thinking what you might be watching.
No, I don't. I've already been over this. I don't watch porn. Porn is stupid. Porn is dumb. I have no desire to watch it. I usually watch like Yellowstone. Or
why do you want to watch something you can't partake in?
Yeah, well,
with the whole porn thing.
Why? Yeah, why? What is the point? And porn is not realistic anyway, right? Oh, look, the pizza man is here.
Wait. What do you mean it's not realistic?
Porn's not realistic. Oh, look, the pizza man is here. I don't have any money. I guess I'll have to pay for it a different way.
You've never done that? You've never done that
I've
scenario?
never done. No,
Oh.
I've never done that. Stop it.
Such a
Anyway,
life you live.
no, I usually watch like Yellowstone, or I'll watch other shows I have DVR'd, or
There's the daddy thing.
No, stop it, Robert. Paul. And Jane said, "I think the TV above the tub is badass." It is. It's really cool. It's a great way to relax after a long, hard day. It really is. It's a great.
Can I say this?
Failed.
Look,
the mount hasn't failed. It was mounted. Hillary mounted it. Actually, you guys know Hillary. He mounted it.
Who mounted your TV over your bathtub? Hold on.
Oh, did you, Paul,
Who mounted
or was
the
it
TV
Hillary?
over your bathtub?
Did you?
Yeah,
do it,
I
or
did, and I
Hillary?
still feel guilty about it today. No, I did it. Here, not because you have a TV.
Wait a
Listen,
minute.
it's
Paul
all
is
fine, dude. Have
mounting
your
Kevin?
TV. Enjoy it.
What the
I
heck?
love my TV. What?
Mm-hmm.
Did I just hear that
It's
right?
the weird-
So Paul is mounting Kevin?
No, well, he mounted the TV.
Okay.
Not the first time in his life
I'm
he's
just
mounted a
checking
TV
it out.
either.
But here's the weird part.
That's
Kevin,
how Paul
here was the
enjoyed
one, the
porn in his-
only
in his
weird
youth.
thing.
He mounted the TV, huh?
What?
Go ahead, Paul.
The only weird thing about all this, Kevin, was when you decided you needed to show everybody how you were going to kick back, relax, and you were taking a bubble bath, and you took a picture of your legs from the knees down with the TV in the background. And I'm
Yes,
like,
'cause I
oh
was
God,
showing
Kevin, no,
people
that's.
how cool my life is.
Is that a
I'm
jetted
just
tub?
saying that was the only weird part.
Yeah, jetted tubs are the best, man.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
Yep.
Best thing ever.
Gotta have the
Listen,
heater to keep the water warm too.
don't hate because I have a jetted tub.
Hot water heater.
Don't hate because I take bubble baths. I deserve a little. Tom, do you? Bubble
We're not.
bath?
It's good for old people.
No, not usually. I need to repair my hot tub, but I
Yeah.
do hot tub. I love my
Bubble
hot tub.
baths are
Hey,
great.
Kevin.
Robert, do you bubble bath?
Guilty as charged. Where do you think I was listening to the first hour of the show?
In your bubble bath?
Of course.
Good, as you should. Thank you, Paul. Suck it. Okay.
That visual, Robert. Oh my God.
Corey, hold on, listen. I'm getting love from the chat. Corey said, "More power to you, Kevin. I'd post pics too if I had one." Thank you, Corey. Listen, don't hate the player, man. Hate the game. Okay. Just because
Hey, I'm the guy with the wife.
you are the guy with the wife.
You know,
Thanks for rubbing that in.
Two
Thanks for
fit
the
in that
reminder.
tub too.
Huh?
Two can fit in that tub too.
Two could fit in my tub, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't have a second person to go in the tub, so it's just
Well,
me.
we tried with Heidi and you ran her
Oh
off. man.
God! By the way, we are gonna add in a segment on Kevin's dating life on the 5th Sunday of every month, so it won't be every month, but just occasionally the 5th Sunday of the month we'll add that in the 10:30 spot. All right.
What
I'm
are we
I'm
doing
planning
for that?
segments. I'm
I
planning
know.
segments, man.
I'm proud of you.
I know this is the kind of lecture I get from Lori about having segments, Phil.
And rumor has it he'll have his first date on the 5th Tuesday of February.
Wait,
Of
am I
February.
setting up your dating profile?
I don't know. Are you?
I don't know.
Listen, you guys
Are
could
you
not
on a
possibly.
dating profile?
You guys could not possibly do any worse on my dating profiles than I have.
I've
never been on them.
I've never done an online dating profile. I don't know how they work.
That's why I'm not trusting you.
I swipe
or
past
No, I
yours,
still
Kevin.
don't. When you guys are talking about the swipe left, swipe right,
Mhm.
I know I've heard from my sons that that's what they do to pick people.
Yep.
But I don't know if left is good.
I
or
was saying, I
right
don't
is
know if
good
left
or-
is left is yes, right is no.
I
I don't know.
have no idea.
Don
Kevin?
asked what happened to Heidi. I don't know what happened to Heidi, by the way.
I don't know.
She got a boyfriend again. I think they got back together.
Yeah,
and
Trey and her got back together.
Yeah, and then neither one of them have been in the chat since. So hopefully they're living their best
Well,
life.
she was pissed at me too.
Oh, well, of course she was. You're Robert Parker. If
Yeah.
you're not pissed at Robert, you don't know Robert.
Okay.
Anyway, whatever she's doing, like more power to her.
Yeah,
I hope she's living her best life and things are going good for
Corey
her.
thinks she went to another state.
I don't think she would have.
Well, she was talking about going to Wyoming.
Oh, was she?
And then I pissed her off because I told her Wyoming was the first state to allow women to vote because she wanted to go to a state where women don't vote. I was like, Wyoming?
That I think
And
that's
she's
like a
still
Pearl David
looking.
thing.
Well, if she was thinking that, she shouldn't be voting.
Oh, well, she
anyway.
did unfriend me, so there's that.
Well, she unfriended me too.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I
it
wonder
was-
if I'm unfriended
It was
too.
over a comment I made though,
Oh,
because she, when she talks all naughty, and then when I tell Trey, hey, you
well.
want to smack her on the tush and put her back in line, she got all bent out of shape.
I'm
for
not
that.
even going to get into that. All right. Anyway, I hope she's living her best life.
Right. Me too.
I hope the best for her. 'Cause she's good people.
Yeah, she is.
She's good people. All right. Do we have any other comments on this legislative stuff between Tara and Michelle?
We got one more local.
No,
one.
I
got
We got the
them
positive
too.
one.
A positive one?
Yeah.
Okay, you got 2 minutes.
South Kitsap School District.
What about it?
We've been doing a whole lot of activism stuff down there, trying to get things fixed
Mhm.
or started in the right direction anyway. And had my son come in one day, who's studying to be an EMT, and he says, "Hey, Dad, you want to start talking to somebody about getting CPR in the schools?" And I went, "Hey, that sounds like a good idea." He says, "Just think, all the kids could then save the parents and the grandparents and the teachers and all that kind of good stuff if they taught it." So I called the Superintendent Winters, first I called Dan Griffey, and Dan Griffey goes, "Yeah, that's a fantastic idea." He said, "Let's get a law in place." He said, "Let's get some funding behind it. And let's make it happen. Make it a graduation requirement. Every kid to graduate learn CPR and AED training."
That's a great
It's
idea.
Then
really
the
a
staff
good
comes
idea.
back- Yeah, the staff comes back to us and says, "Hey, idiots, that's already a law."
It's a nice idea, but
So
should we
I-
teach them reading, writing, and arithmetic?
So I call the superintendent and I say, "Hey, Tim, Reverend Parker, are we teaching CPR?" He goes, "No." And I said, "It's a state law." "Oh, then of course we're teaching." And I said, "That's not the answer." And that goes right back to me doing the FOIA request. And come to find out, they have all the gear and they show a little 10-minute video of somebody doing CPR on the screen, and that's how they meet the requirement.
That's it?
That's what they do. So I talked to Dan about this, and Dan, being a former firefighter, goes, "Oh, this is not cool."
No.
And I said, "No, this is not cool." So Dan's rewriting the law so all
Good.
the kids will get hands-on training.
Yes.
But it started with Tim Winters, the superintendent, tells me, "Robert, if you don't like the law, then go change it."
So you did.
Whoops.
So that's what we're doing.
Hold on. Can they get credit if they practice mouth to mouth in the backseat of a Chevy? Does that count for the CPR credit?
I don't know, dude. That's sexual violent predator stuff.
Not if they're both consenting adults. What are you talking about?
Teachers
Or
sucking face with kids
no,
in the
teenagers.
parking lot?
The kids,
Uh-oh.
students.
Well,
If
you
the
gotta be
students,
specified.
As long as
that.
it's not the teacher teaching them that.
unless it's Mary Kay
It worked for
Letourneau.
Gypsy. It worked for Gypsy Rose Blanchard. So
No, that was about her mom, not her
Yeah.
teacher.
Hey, Mary Kay finally married the guy.
And then she died.
And then she
Yeah.
died.
Well, then they
Yeah.
got a divorce, and
Yeah.
then she died.
Yeah.
Mhm.
See what happens when you take on them younger guys? They wear you out.
They wear you out, right, Lori? All right.
I'm nothing. Saying nothing.
All right, so we're going to switch to some national
I'm
stuff when we
busy
come back
selling
around the top of the hour. The Republican the Republican primary field is thinning quicker than my dating options.
Wow.
This week alone, 2 more have dropped out. We'll talk about that. I'm also going to play a small part of Skirkomish, who's he's a guy on CNN. He does he one of their weekend schmucks, but he did a piece on CNN that I thought was really interesting. I'm going to play part of it. And I think it's a really interesting point that he makes. And I think he's actually right, even though he's on CNN. So just like a broken clock being right twice a day, I think CNN might have been right on something. So we'll play that when we get around the corner from the top of the hour news. If you're on AM, enjoy the top of the hour news. There will be a quiz later. If you're on Facebook, share the show. Remember, if you share the show, we're going to put you in for the drawing the first week of March. We're going to give away some more swag. We got to get Kevin Nelson stuff out there. And we'll give away some more stuff off the Facebook page. So just share it on your Facebook channels and all that. Every time you share it, you get an entry. And one more hour to go. It's the Outlaw Radio Network with Robert Parker in studio and St. Paul sitting on his hands. Back after this. All right, Outlaw Radio. Perfect. Okay. Yeah.
Just gonna order.
Yeah, order that for him and then tell me what my cost is, and I'll Venmo it to you or Facebook it to you or
I thought that was a pretty good way
or...
to hotshot that.
What now?
I thought that was a pretty good way for me to hotshot that.
That was bogus, by the way.
I just share.
Why wouldn't you share it on your page for all your fans to see? Why, are you embarrassed of the show?
No.
Then share it for all your friends to see.
I was at the last second. I was going, oh yeah, we're supposed to share, and I went. So I shared it onto your page, onto Tom's page, and Laura's page.
Yeah, but you need to share it on your page so all your people can see it.
I will.
The point of this is to spread the word about the show.
I will.
Listen, if you're a fan of the show, be a friend and tell a friend. If you're not, pretend like this never happened.
I
try not to run him off.
And then she pulled my name. So, at least I have the integrity. I'm not going to take the prize.
Yeah. Try not to run him off, though, Kevin. Okay.
Don said, when's the drawing for sharing? So we already did the sharing for the last quarter of last year. We did that the first Sunday show of January. And then in March, it'll be on March 3rd.
March 2nd.
March 3rd.
March 2nd, according to the
March
whiteboard.
2nd is a Saturday, so it'll be on March 3rd.
Oh, the whiteboard's wrong.
The whiteboard is wrong. So it'll be on March 3rd. Jennifer said she shelled it to the Belfair community page. Well, that got a whole 2 people to hear about it. There's more sheep in Belfair than people, by the way.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You sure of that? So
yeah, there's a reason the Bible calls us people sheep.
Sheeple?
Kevin, why are you counting the sheep in Belfair?
To fall asleep.
Remember, folks, "ba" means no. I only know that because Paul told me.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. All right, I got to figure this out. This sharing audio, video clips.
Okay, if you're not plugged in, tick the box to share the audio and it'll play from your laptop.
No, I know. I got to bring it up first and get it ready. And then...
So really quick, while you're doing that, I have a question for Robert.
Sure.
Yeah.
So one of the House
Robert,
bills...
can Lori ask you a question?
No.
Okay?
Shut up, Kevin. Anyways, one of the House bills I saw was about Public Records Requests Act.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that? I want to make sure I understood the purpose or intent.
The purpose is to take more clarity or transparency away, as usual.
That's the way I saw it. Okay.
It's a constant battle that they're trying to take our ability to actually get public records from them. Like right now, to give you a perfect case of that, the Michelle Caldier thing, and on the elevators, I put in a public records request 2 weeks ago, and they say they should be able to give me the records on when the elevators were down and up in March. We won't even be in session then.
Wow.
Now, how is that transparency?
Right.
So Michelle won't even be using the stairs or the elevators at that time. And my thing was, why did I jump out there? I jumped out there because she's saying that the elevators aren't working when she's putting her card into it. They're saying, oh, yes, they are. And I said, well, because these are controlled things, and every time an elevator goes down, it has to be logged, and then the service tech has to log what it was and put it back up because of the state regulation. I said, let's just get the log files. And let's find out if they are jacking with her.
Yeah.
That's a way for us to clarify it. They're taking that stuff away. And one step at a time, their little legislative privilege. It's garbage.
Right.
That's a way for them to just say, no, we're just not going to give it to you. Now Department of Revenue is turning in records to the legislature and saying, would you like this to be legislative privilege? So the Department of Revenue doesn't have to give us the records that we're requesting.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a nasty, nasty big game. Yep.
So how many, is there like a whole department that does the FOIA requests? Or is it just taken in and then they're disseminated
we have
to
public
different
records
teams?
officers all over the state,
Okay.
and in the city, county,
Yeah.
and all those.
Right.
So almost every office has a public records officer.
Okay.
What they don't tell you is when they say you have to fill out this form, this little form, you don't have to.
All right.
Okay.
All right. We're coming back on AM. Outlaw Radio Network. Final hour of the show's around the corner. Back after this.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's all right.
How about them Cowboys?
A bunch of a-holes.
You know, kicking the Cowboys when they're down is like Paul kicking me when I'm down. It's just so easy to do.
I would never do that to my.
I don't know. You made it look fun.
You do that all the time, Paul, actually. Thank you.
You also take clubbing baby seals.
You know, I think if I ranked my friends based on their history of assisting me in
This
my
could go
relationships,
really bad.
right?
Oh,
I think Robert would be ranked ahead of Paul because Robert attempted to hook me up on a blind date with Heidi Hot Sauce, even though that was never going to happen. Paul hooked up with a girl who had two eyes that looked in different directions. So I don't think it's even. Phil?
No, Kevin. What about I've got a girl I'm trying to hook you up with.
No, you do not.
Well, I mean, the thought that counts.
Damn. Outlaw Radio, guys. Thanks for checking out the show. K-Dog and Black Tom in studio with Lori, the CEO, Bob Ross running the boards. Paul joins us from the palatial St. Paul Estates and Mortuary. And Robert Parker joins us in studio as a special guest tonight. Robert, good to see you.
Mortuary. Good to see you too.
Good to see you too. Yeah. Well, you know, we see a lot of pets running around there, but not a lot of people. Okay. I want to open.
Wow.
I want to play a clip.
Okay.
So this is Smirconish. Okay, and generally, I'm not a fan.
I was gonna say, what tribe is that?
It's his name.
Oh.
I like Skycomish, Nahomish.
No, I think it's pronounced Smirconish. Anyway, he's a dude on CNN. He's got his own show. He talks a lot. He does interviews. He's generally relatively boring. But this, I came across this by accident, and I heard it, and I thought he was spot on. Okay. And so I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's 11 minutes long. I'm not going to do that. But I do want to give you guys kind of an overview of what he's saying, and then we'll discuss. So let me go over here, and then let me share. Well, this is a state-of-the-art organization. Shut up. Okay, now I'm going to share, and I'm going to maximize the screen. All right, and this should play where everybody can hear it. Here we go.
Are the people most opposed to Donald Trump actually aiding his election? I'm Michael Smirconish in Philadelphia. Tuesday is the New Hampshire primary. The GOP race in the Granite State thought to be a two-person affair, Donald Trump and Nikki Haley. If Trump becomes the first non-incumbent Republican to win both the Iowa caucus and an open New Hampshire primary, he will be the de facto nominee of his party. But New Hampshire could prove more hospitable for Haley. It's less evangelical and home to more libertarians and independents. So Haley is all in. And so too are many institutional forces which see time running out to stop Trump. But are some of those efforts backfiring? Mark Halpern, in his Wide World of News newsletter, regularly chronicles this phenomenon, which he calls the sad irony of those members of the media and the Democratic Party who most worry about a Trump second term acting in ways that actually make it more likely he will win. Here's an example. On Monday, MSNBC had the kind of all-night extensive coverage of the Iowa caucus that we've come to expect of cable outlets. But when it came time for Trump to make his acceptance speech, the network didn't air it. Instead, Rachel Maddow said this.
At this point in the evening, the projected winner of the Iowa caucuses has just started giving his victory speech. We will keep an eye on that as it happens. We will let you know if there's any news made in that speech, if there's anything noteworthy, something substantive and important. The reason I'm saying this is, of course, there is a reason that we and other news organizations have generally stopped giving an unfiltered live platform to remarks by former President Trump. It is not out of spite. It is not a decision that we relish. It is a decision that we regularly revisit. And honestly, earnestly, it is not an easy decision.
By the way, CNN did take Trump's speech live for about the first 10 minutes before getting out. Ignoring Trump's electoral success is a way of putting a thumb on the scale and will redound to his benefit. It also sets a poor precedent. If he wins the Republican nomination, will some cover the convention, but not his acceptance speech? If he wins the presidency, will there be a blackout on the inauguration? I doubt Trump would have won over the MSNBC audience. His base was watching elsewhere. But of course, they've been made aware of the slight, and it will now be added to their festivus of grievances against institutional forces they see as seeking to deny voters a chance to elect Trump. And at the top of that list are states like Colorado and Maine trying to knock Trump off the ballot by asserting that he's an insurrectionist under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Harvard professor Lawrence Lessig was my guest here 2 weeks ago. Lessig is no fan of Trump. In fact, he calls him astoundingly dangerous. But Lessig also believes that while electing Trump would be the worst political decision of the nation since the Civil War, excluding him wrongfully by a close vote of the Supreme Court could well trigger the next Civil War. Says Lessig, we must defeat him politically, not through clever lawyer interpretations of ambiguous constitutional texts. In the eyes of Trump's base and perhaps some independents, the 14th Amendment challenge only underscores what they already think about the 4 criminal indictments that Trump faces, namely that they're politically motivated. That's why in entrance polls, roughly 2/3 of Iowa voters said they'll stick with Trump even if he's convicted. And consider that 2/3 of caucus goers said President Biden didn't legitimately win the 2020 election, and about 7 in 10 of those voters, they supported Donald Trump.
All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. Oh, what is this? Oh, it's a commercial. Okay. I'm going to leave it at that. And again, there's a whole bunch more. If you want to go look it up on Smirkomish, you can definitely do that. But again, the basic premise of what he's saying is, like the MSNBC, we're not going to air his stuff. Well, that wouldn't have mattered anyway, right? He's not going to sway over MSNBC voters. Okay? If you're watching MSNBC, you already hate Trump. But by doing things like that, they are galvanizing the base. Another thing that Smirkomish said was that he spoke to somebody before who said that they're not going to vote for Trump. And then when they talked about the process and what had happened with MSNBC not carrying the speech, the guy who said he wasn't going to vote for Trump said at the end of that conversation with Smirkomish, well, God, maybe I will vote for Trump.
That's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah, if they're going to that extent to silence him, then maybe I should vote for him. And so I want to get your guys' thoughts, right? I think we've talked about this in the show before. Are the efforts by the left really helping Trump elevate himself even further to the presidency when he was already a pretty formidable character to begin with? Paul, we'll start with you.
Well, yes. They've taken away all of. Listen, if Trump had been charged with 1 or 2 things, that would have been one thing. But 75 plus, no, it's all of it. You know, it's just that's why you got so many Americans who are like, I did not want the guy to run again, right? But nobody's coming even close to him. Nobody's in the same vicinity as he is. and since it's clear that nobody came close to him, they should all just wrap it up and let him get settled in for the upcoming general election. Yeah, no, I listen, as much as I'd like to use this Smirkonish to wipe my at the wrong time of day, had to agree with him on that one. He was pretty spot on.
Tom?
I think being someone who's not a Biden or Trump fan, and watching the way the two sides are going after each other, the side that bothers me the most is the left, the defense of Biden, the attempts to silence we the people.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part that upsets me the most. It's not necessarily about the two candidates, because I really don't like either of them, but trying to take away the voice of the average American is kind of gross.
But do you think that by the way that they're doing it helps Trump? Like helps motivate people to get behind him because they feel like he's being victimized by the elite, by the establishment, by the media?
I think there's a portion of the population. Yeah. I think there's people that, there's a big chunk of the population that you tell them, hey, don't do that. I go, well, why? Why can't I do that? What's so special about that? And they're going to go do that just because they were told not to do that.
Yeah, I told Paul once not to pee on the electric fence. We saw what happened.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
children like to do what their daddies tell them.
Yeah. Well, but then we've got people, I
love you. Just kidding.
I have a younger sister who lives in Swears by MSNBC. Hell, she's still going out in public wearing a mask. So it's every time she hears something about COVID numbers, it's Chicken Little. The sky is falling.
Right.
So I think that's Biden's base.
I'm not sure where Paul went, by the way. Robert, what do you think?
I think I was tired of Trump, and I can tell you right now, I don't care who's on the ballot. I'm voting for Trump.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reasons behind that. They've attacked that man like nobody in history, and he's still standing.
Mm-hmm.
And we have through his good deeds or bad deeds, however you want to look at it with Trump, boy, have we learned a lot about the Department of Justice.
Yeah.
About the AG's office, about who's pulling the strings, about the filth and the corruption and all of that. And for that, I thank Trump. And I want him back in office now, because I want him to stand on the top of that heap and start swinging an aluminum bat around in a circle and saying,
Mm-hmm.
you're done, you're done, you're done. And let's start rebuilding this country. Do I think Trump's going to do a really good job of it? I don't know, yet to be seen. But you know what? It's pretty ugly right now.
Yeah.
And there are, we have half of Congress is bought off by people giving them stock insider stuff, and nobody's put them in jail.
2/3.
Well, okay, 2/3.
Yeah. Two-thirds of Congress has taken money from Big Pharma.
Yeah, that's illegal. And getting these little stock tips that they're getting the insider stuff on the regulation that they're doing, they're making millions off of it, which is highly illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody has put them in prison. Why only Trump?
Yeah. No, I think we know why Trump. I mean,
Because
I don't
won't play their game.
Yeah, exactly. I know why Trump, because Trump's the outsider.
Yeah.
I mean, regardless of whether you like him or not, he's not going to play the games that the political norm want him to play. He's going to do things his way, as he always has been, good, bad, or indifferent, and they can't control him.
Yeah, the same thing as we had like Shifty Schiff out there standing in front of the big doors for the Intelligence Committee saying that he's got all the goods on Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one, if that were true, the FBI should have showed up, because everything inside of that door is classified. And he would have on national TV just started putting out information that is classified, because everything that happens inside of that committee is classified.
Yep.
So you knew he was lying on national TV.
Yeah.
So why hasn't anybody taken down old Shifty Schiff?
No, I think you know why.
Yeah.
I think that
they're all corrupt. And I'm not saying that Trump isn't making money on the side somewhere either through his Trump towers and all that stuff, but that's still sitting in a blind trust.
Mm-hmm.
That's a heck of a lot less than what half of Congress is doing, 2/3 of Congress. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt and saying, I'll vote for you, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go take an aluminum bat to Washington, D.C.
Well, and here's the other thing too, and we'll get everybody's thoughts on this as well. DeSantis dropped out this week.
Yep.
Ramaswamy dropped out this week.
Yep.
Christie dropped out this week or the end of last week.
Yep.
So it's really coming down to Trump and Haley. Right now, Trump has a 50-39 and the polls lead in New Hampshire. So double digits. So he should win New Hampshire relatively easily.
Yeah. Well, we need Haley in just in case they get some kind of legal mumbo jumbo on Trump that he can't run.
Well,
but say you get a weird thing coming out of the out of SCOTUS or something like that.
I would argue
have to have somebody standing up. So Haley's got to stand.
But they could do a brokered convention if Trump has to bail out. I don't like the idea of Trump and Haley both being in there because they're just going to level barbs at each other the entire time and weaken each other before the election. I mean, I think at this point Haley probably needs to step out. And then if Trump gets buried into something legally where he's not a viable candidate for whatever reason, then you broker the convention and you probably put up Haley.
If I were Trump and Haley, I would be talking to each other and saying, look, if I go in, I can beat you, period, to Haley, and say, let's play nicey nice just in case they get me on the legal stuff. Yeah. And you're going to be my new vice president. But we're not going to talk to anybody about
he doesn't
that.
want her, though. I think he wants Elise Stefanik.
Mm-hmm.
I think Elise Stefanik is going to be his VP candidate. She was his she was a lapdog for him this weekend. Yep. I don't mean that derogatorily, but
right.
She was addressing the media instead of Trump.
His talking piece.
Yeah, right. She was the mouth, and I think that's who he wants. And I think she's a good candidate for him. She's a woman, which will be good for his campaign. I think that she doesn't have any glaring issues in her past that would discredit her. She's certainly a better candidate than Sarah Palin was for McCain in the sense that she's got more time under her belt. I would be amazed if it was anybody besides Elise. Now, some people have said, can it be DeSantis? It can't be DeSantis.
No, it can't be DeSantis.
Trump is
That's
now
two alphas.
Well, but even constitutionally, it can't be DeSantis. Trump is currently a resident of Florida. The Constitution bars you from having
I'd forgotten about that.
two candidates from the same state.
Yeah.
So you could not. There's no way legally you could have Trump and DeSantis. So you could have Trump and Ramaswamy. You could have Trump and Elise
Stefanik. She's from New York.
Yep, you could have Haley from South Carolina, but I think it'll be Elise. Stefanik.
Yeah, she's blindly loyal.
And she's not going to overshadow him. He's not going to want somebody to overshadow him, and that's not going to be her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Paul, what do you think?
Well, about what question? About what you were
general.
just talking about?
Just in general.
A VP candidate? Well, he said so himself. He doesn't think people will be surprised when he announces. Now, what does that mean? Who knows? I don't know. I got no idea. I have learned a long time ago to never try to second guess that guy, because just when you think he's going to do something smart, he opens his mouth. God, if somebody could just sew his mouth shut like one of them episodes in the Twilight Zone, we'd be set, man. We'd be in good shape. God, he can't get out of his own way. But listen, it is what it is. I know that we'll all get, if he wins again, we're all going to get to take names for all the Hollywood celebrities and elites that say that they're moving out of the country that won't really leave.
I still have the old list.
Right. I'm thinking this time maybe we should. Yeah, we should make some websites that say those who promise to leave,
Please do so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the last person to leave the major cities, please turn out the light. I expected Republicans to put a little more of a fight up for who their nominee was going to be. Like, I thought it would be Trump, but I thought that you'd have more Republicans kind of split on Trump or Haley or Trump or DeSantis, that it would be a little bit closer.
Why do you need the fight?
I'm not saying we needed the fight, but I felt like there were enough Republicans that were still a little bit iffy, the establishment certainly, about Trump running again, that there would have been a little more of a dig in. And instead, it looks like after New Hampshire, if Haley loses, she'll probably drop as well. And then this is a foregone conclusion moving forward. I mean, unless something court happens, Tom.
I guess my immediate response to what you just said is you've been telling the GOP that they all need to get behind someone because they're too fractured right now. So they did it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me
there is
that
a point
that the RNC listened to K-Dog?
I think it might be coincidental, but you
I
never
don't know. Bite your
You
tongue.
never
There's no
know.
such thing as
Coincidence.
You know what they say about that clock twice a day?
But actually, when talking about a vice president, as far as Trump's concerned, Corey's got an interesting thing in chat, and I've said the same thing. Ramaswamy would be an interesting vice president, although I agree that Trump would probably never take him.
No, I think that Ramaswamy is really bright, really smart, really articulate, and Trump doesn't want to be overshadowed by anybody. And so I think that there might be, because again, Trump's biggest issue is his ego, right?
Yeah, but Ramaswamy would bring in
the young vote.
Yeah, the younger vote.
I think Ramaswamy might be somebody he would look at for a cabinet position, or maybe head up the DOJ and clean it up.
No, I don't know about that.
No, I could see.
but
I could see
him,
where Trump would say,
Yeah.
"Go for it."
I like the guy though; he's quick.
I
Yeah.
do too. I do
Yeah.
too. And I think to me, he reminds me of Pete Buttigieg, not in political
Only
stuff,
not
but
gay.
No.
Well, no. Listen, let me explain. Not in a political like where he stands on politics, but the fact that he's a younger guy, kind of came out of nowhere and ends up in the cabinet. You know, that's what Buttigieg did. He came out of nowhere, ends up in the cabinet for the transportation secretary. I could see Trump doing the same thing with Ramaswamy. Young guy, let's get him into the cabinet, get him some seasoning, so he's going to be positioned
for later.
For future races.
I've never been a fan of butt plug.
Hey, now
Buttigieg actually used to work in Seattle.
Did he?
Yeah, he's just.
I like Buttigieg. I don't.
He's
I don't care what
McKinsey.
anybody says.
The more I watch of him, the more I'm just going, yeah, this guy's just weird.
He's
He's
just
weird.
No, listen. Served his country admirably.
And then he decides he wants to go have a baby with his father. I guess this father and father thing. I guess they're married and they want to have a baby together. So he takes 60 days off from America to go have a baby. Resign, butthead.
Well, no, I actually don't have an issue. I don't have an issue. Hold on, I don't have an issue with that. We now have co-parental leave on the federal level.
No,
not all states.
That's a cabinet position.
I'm just telling
that
you.
is your life. That's the same thing as the president taking 60 days off, like Biden does every 60 days.
Well, I don't disagree with you that if you're going to take 60 days off or something and you're in a cabinet level position, you should probably resign and step aside because there's work to be done.
No, but he's out there on social media with him and his other dad or husband or whatever it is in a hospital bed with the baby. Really?
Were they in a hospital bed?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Were they
what I
really
said.
in a hospital
Yes.
bed?
They're both in
Breaking news! You didn't poop out a baby.
Exactly.
Hold on, we're going to break. Hold on,
And I'm like, this guy is just nuts.
Paul, don't fold your hands. You look very angry right now. You look very Karen-ish.
No, I'm just fine. Watch this. You know what my new nickname is for you, Kevin?
That was weird.
That was super weird.
I didn't do it.
Well, we're on break.
Oh, we're on break?
We're back.
I was like ramping it up and then it ended. I'm like, but
okay.
Man, Dennis is gonna kill.
Everything okay, Paul? You doing good?
Are we on Facebook?
Yeah,
or
everything's.
Paul wants to talk to the manager.
Paul, I love you, by the way.
Bob Ross, are we on AM or
We're on
Facebook?
Oh my
Paul
God,
Daddy's talking to you.
Saint Paul, the voice of Karen.
No,
that's my rubber chicken's name.
Every time you bust out Daddy, I'm busting you out as Karen. That's my comeback now.
My Lord.
we can go back and forth. Which one are people more likely to believe?
Do they know you?
Like biblically or what?
Well, I've known him for about 25
Lord,
years.
no.
Could you see a little Karen coming out of Paul?
Oh, no.
No? You
Paul
don't know?
asking for the manager? I don't
No.
think so.
No.
Never done that in my life.
I just grabbed by the throat. Who needs a manager?
There you go.
Direct interface with the problem, right?
Yeah.
All right, really quick. Let's check comments in the chat.
Apparently, we're not 3 minutes. We're only 40 seconds left.
Oh yeah. Are we doing dad jokes?
Jennifer says her dog is a genius. She asked him what 2 minus 2 was, and the dog said nothing.
20 seconds.
Jennifer said, I used to hate facial hair, but it grew on me.
Jennifer said that?
You did threaten dad jokes at 10:30.
All right, Outlaw Radio. We're coming back after this. You're on Mega Talk.
No fucking dad jokes, Daddy.
All right, Karen. All right, Outlaw Radio. We'll spend a few minutes on dad jokes in a second, just because I promised we would do it. Paul loves dad jokes, by the way. Yeah.
As Paul's
he's not there to defend himself, so I really can't say anything. Let's check just a couple more comments in chat. Hold on really quick. Debbie says Kevin is way more of a Karen. He will chew out a manager. I'll chew out a manager. No, listen. I don't. If you want to call that being a Karen, that's fine. I'll chew out a manager. Listen, if I'm paying for a service, I expect to get what I paid for. And if you're not going to give me what I paid for, you deserve to have your ass chewed. If that's being a Karen, then I'm a Karen.
I'm gonna go cry to Daddy.
So let's do the dad jokes. See if it's like hold a straight face and you laugh. We'll tally some points like golf.
Oh no.
Okay, but it'll have to be the four of us. We'll have to leave you and Lori out of it then, because you guys are off camera, so we can't see if you laugh. All right. So you guys have your dad jokes ready?
The microphone's on, ready to go.
You guys have your dad jokes ready? All right, Phil, I want you to pay attention to who laughs.
No, I didn't know I was supposed to have
can't
dad
afford
jokes.
to
I have
pay
one.
attention.
All right.
You guys get your dad jokes ready?
Ready?
All right, let's just have fun.
All right, who's going to go first?
I will.
But you're not on camera, so
It
you
doesn't
can't-
matter.
so you
I'm
can't-
reading.
Oh, you're going to read. Okay.
I'm gonna
all right.
read it.
Hold on.
Are we ready?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
So plain is going to be me, Paul, Tom, and Robert.
Yeah.
All right. I'm ready. Go ahead.
2 peanuts went walking down the street. One was assaulted.
All right. What do you call a fish wearing a bow tie? Sophisticated.
I got one. You ready? Did you hear about the circus fire? It was intense.
I thought the dryer was shrinking my clothes. Turns out it was the refrigerator all along.
Hey, Phil, we're going in order. What makes you special?
My
You
mom
skip
said
me,
so.
Phil.
Go ahead,
Phil.
Paul.
You want to talk to the manager? Sorry, I got out of order. There was an awkward silence. I tried
Daddy
to
didn't
fill
get
it.
upset. Yes. Why are farms the worst places for gossip? Because corn lends an ear and potatoes keep an eye out.
Waka waka waka.
Tom, do you have one?
Yeah.
Do you have one? Go ahead.
Did you know the first French fries weren't actually cooked in France? They were cooked in Greece.
You're on the same page I'm on.
Oh.
Robert, do you have one?
Fix that.
Nope.
You don't have one? No? All right, you'll pass. Okay, I got another one. Did you hear about the guy who invented lifesavers? They say he made a mint.
Waka waka.
Oh, that's sweet.
Did you hear about the school napping incident? It's fine. The kid woke up. That's how bad these are, Kevin.
I know.
6:30 is my favorite time of day, hands down.
Cute.
You
Hands
almost
down.
smiled.
No.
Kid. Dad, make me a sandwich. Dad, poof, you're a sandwich.
No.
All right, I got one. Dear Matt.
I recommended to my better half that she should own up to her errors. She enveloped me.
Go ahead, Phil.
Oh, come
Dear
on. You
man.
don't get that one, Kevin? Of all
Yes,
the jokes, I
we're
thought you'd
trying
get
not
that
to
one.
laugh at the dad jokes. Go ahead.
I heard that joke
okay.
differently. My wife, she was told to embrace her mistakes, and she gave me a hug. Dear math, grow up and solve your own problems. Rough crowd.
Okay, you ready? I went to buy some camouflage pants,
Mhm.
but I couldn't find any.
Waka waka. How do you get a country girl's attention?
Oh, we got two.
A tractor.
No, all right, hold on. I'm just remembering every dirty joke about like Southern brothers and their sisters in the South, and
That's exactly what I was thinking.
how do you castrate a guy from Alabama? You kick his sister in the jaw. That's what I was thinking of. But go ahead.
How do you get a country girl's attention?
How?
You a tractor.
What?
You
A tractor.
Oh, okay.
What do you
It's
name
like we were
fake
thinking about what's
pasta?
funnier than this.
Oh, sorry, Mr. I'll say it again. What do you name fake pasta?
Impasta.
An impasta.
Oh, here's one. In fact, I'll customize it. So I got carded at a Black Ring Spirits.
Uh-oh.
My Blockbuster card fell out, and Tom was like, "Yeah, never mind." Hey, got to laugh.
Hey guys, I was going to tell you guys a joke about time travel, but you didn't like it.
Really?
Why do scientists have a hard time trusting atoms?
Why?
Because they literally fabricate everything.
They make up everything.
Robert?
I'm reading the fucking joke, man. Get off my back.
I know website with funny ones.
I love this one. This one's actually pretty funny. Two sheep walk into a bar. I like that one. That's good.
Bigfoot is sometimes confused for Sasquatch. Yeti never complains.
Cute.
Mm-hmm.
I got at least a sarcastic side eye from
Yes.
Tom.
Go ahead, Tom. Do you have one?
Yeah. How can you tell a dogwood tree?
How?
Its bark.
Why are oh good Lord, Tom, that was good. I'm sorry, I can't get away from that. What do you name a boomerang that refuses to return or come back?
My ex? Sorry, go ahead.
Just a stick.
Oh, got one for you.
Okay, hold on. My turn, and then yours. I lost it. Oh, here we go. What is Forrest Gump's password? One Forrest one.
All right.
Bob Ross.
What's brown and sticky? A stick.
Why don't skeletons brawl with each other?
Why?
They lack the guts. These are just terrible, Kevin. Oh my God. Oh. Shoot me now.
Dogs can't operate MRI machines, but cats can.
What do you call two? What do you call two ducks and a cow? Quackers and milk.
Paul hasn't spoken to his wife in 4 years. He thought it'd be rude to interrupt.
I'll come through this little freaking screen right here.
Philip?
So I ordered a chicken and an egg from Amazon. I'll let you know.
Waka waka.
Jennifer asked in chat, what is the difference between an oral thermometer and a rectal one? The taste. Rick said, little known fact, before the crowbar was invented, crows simply drank at home.
What goes in long and hard and comes out soft and sticky?
Oh, what?
Stick of gum.
Corey says, what has 100 balls and screws old women? Bingo.
I like that one.
What do you call a beehive with no exit? Unbelievable. That was from Jennifer.
Here's one for Kevin. I'll call you later. Don't call me later. Call me Dad.
Would you say these jokes grown on you?
Imagine a female pirate
I just
that got
ejected
a
him again.
replacement boob.
Oh, jeez.
That would suck, wouldn't it?
Oh man.
I don't know what happened to Paul. He's suddenly gone again.
Yeah.
All right, here's one for you. All right,
we're gonna wrap up this segment.
All right,
in a
Kevin.
second. Yes.
You want a box for your leftovers? No, but I'll wrestle you for them. Hey, you laugh.
I've got one for our commander in chief.
Go ahead.
If the early bird catches the worm, I'll sleep in until there's pancakes.
I think I just ran into the dad dirty jokes.
Did you?
Yeah.
What did the baby corn say to the mama corn? Where's popcorn?
Did Noah include termites on the ark?
How do you fix a broken pumpkin?
Oh.
With a pumpkin patch.
What's the best way to cook toilet paper? Brown it on one side.
Oh. Lance isn't that common a name these days, but in medieval times they were called Lancelot.
Oh, there's Paul. Let's bring him back. Oh, crap. I had to stage. There
What's
we go.
6 inches
There's
long
Paul.
and it has 2 nuts at the end?
Paul.
An almond joy.
All right. Any other last minute dad jokes before we end this segment? I know Paul loves this.
Wait,
segment.
hold on. Almond Joys don't have nuts. Mounds do.
No, Peter
Wait.
Paul's almond joy has
Oh, I got
nuts.
it backwards.
Mounds don't.
Ah.
Remember the song? Sometimes you feel like a nut. Like
Dang
Paul.
it. And it's recorded too. Me being
Paul
a
loves
doof.
nuts, by the way.
What do you call a masturbating cow?
I know the answer to this.
Beef jerky.
Beef stroganoff.
Oh, beef steak. It's cow having a seizure.
All
It's
right.
beef jerky.
Any other topics or things we want to get into before we end the show? Anybody have anything they want to get into?
I poured root beer into a square glass. Now I just have beer.
Oh my God.
That took you a while.
That is awful.
No, it's pretty tasty.
Oh, Margie keeps bringing up Alec Baldwin.
What about Alec Baldwin? That story is so like last year.
No.
He got
he's in
indicted.
trouble
He got
for something else
re-indicted.
now.
Oh, did he get
is it-
re-indicted?
Is it the shooting at Rust?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
because it's been my
Oh,
contention
good.
he belongs in jail.
I think he should go to jail.
Mhm.
Just like anybody else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
I don't know enough about
I'll tell you why.
how much he knew or
How,
He
He
how
was
much
the executive
he-
producer.
he
was
did the-
producer in the armory. He hired
he
the
pulled
armory.
the trigger.
And he pulled the trigger. And
Well, hold
killed
on,
her.
hold on.
Anytime you pick a weapon up, you should clear that weapon. You should
I
know
don't
the
agree with that.
condition of that weapon.
Because if
He's
you're
at
on a
fault.
movie set and you believe that your armorer has made sure that that thing is ready and the armorer has done their job, I would have a hard time holding him accountable for. I know he was the producer, but I would think that's civil liability. I think the armorer should be charged with something that could put them in jail. But I
He
don't.
fired.
But he believed it
iron-
was a prop gun.
It doesn't matter.
No, he
He-
fired
he
the original armorer, hired a young, inexperienced armorer.
But again, I think that's civil.
And
to your point, though, I
there's
think it's
the-
not that he thought it was he trusted because the person had a job. I get your point, but he also there should still be.
Yeah, but before the word action, there is plenty of time to check that weapon.
Again, you have a trained professional, presumably, that you put in a position of authority, and their job is to make sure that the that the weapons are secure and everything is right, and that you're being given a weapon that is safe to use on set. I wouldn't expect Alec Baldwin and all of his stupidity to even really know what to do with a gun, let alone how to check it.
Then he shouldn't be handling one.
Well, hold on. No, but you're an actor.
It doesn't matter.
We don't have
He
special
can
laws
go-
for movie sets.
He can go do rom-coms or anything else. He shouldn't be doing anything. If he's a gun control guy, he shouldn't be in a movie with guns. Go do a rom-com.
Which
go
he's
do
a big gun control guy.
Personal responsibility.
But I just disagree. I mean, I think he's open to a butt ton of civil liability. I think that because, and not as the actor who pulled the trigger, by the way, as the executive producer who hired the person that was supposed to be in charge of making sure that the weapons were right and all that kind of stuff. As an actor, I don't think he's liable at all. I mean, you were given a prop on a set. You were told that it was a prop. You were told it was safe. You're acting under the assumption of an expert. I wouldn't hold him accountable for that, but I would hold him accountable as the executive producer. And who
I'll tell you why.
Go ahead, Paul.
He is accountable because the very definition of manslaughter is when something that you do results in the death of another person. Period. You do something, it's an accident, doesn't matter, somebody dies. That's manslaughter. Rules don't apply to, quote Robert, they don't apply differently to him because he's an actor. And everybody that touches a gun, and I listened to some good interviews over the weekend with folks that are in the industry, and an actor or not, every actor knows and is trained and is taught that even though you're handed a gun, it's been cleared, you're told it's clear, you still check the chamber. And everybody who's worked with guns knows that. No matter your buddy standing in front of you. Yeah, your buddy that's standing in front of you, he checks the chamber, hands it over to you. Then you still check the chamber, right? Before you touch it or mess around with it. Plus, there's two problems with Alec Baldwin's case. One is he went on and did an interview with George Stephanopoulos, where he appealed to the general public, and he said, somebody's responsible for this. But you know what? It isn't me. It's not me, he said. Wrong answer. Your hand was on the gun, because he claimed he never pulled the trigger. The FBI put that gun through its tests and determined one inescapable fact. That weapon did not discharge itself. And it was not a prop gun. It was a real gun. And they were using it to fire off rounds the night before when they were drinking, partying, and having fun.
And here it is, New Mexico, manslaughter. Text is unlawful killing of a human being without malice. That was definitely not a lawful killing. Evidently no malice. Just straight up killing.
Just, oh damn, I pulled the weapon, it discharged, she's dead.
I say get your day in court.
Yeah,
maybe the people of 12 will find you innocent.
I'll say
You're
this.
right. Yes. Yeah, Phil, you're 100%
Resoundingly
right
in
on
the
that.
chat.
And he gets his day in court.
Resoundingly in the chat, people are agreeing with you, Paul. Just so you're aware. So
I know what? And I knew that our listeners would. I knew they would.
I like John Walker's comment. I stand behind Alec Baldwin.
Because I was stand that's it.
Yeah. Well,
there was video footage from earlier. Did you know this, Kevin? There was video footage released from just earlier in the day, like an hour or two before, where he was pointing the gun and pulling the trigger and dry firing, because they were trying to get down the exact shot angle where the camera was going to be, because the camera was looking down the barrel of the gun. He got handed another weapon later on. Maybe it was the same one. I don't know, but it had a bullet in it. And he's already on camera when he was like, I would never pull the trigger. And he's on camera dry firing that weapon while pointing it at Helena Hutchins and others. So his argument about somebody's responsible, but it's not me. It's not me. I would never pull the trigger. That.
Yeah, I'm not going to die on this hill, right? I think you guys have got really valid points. Personally, I think that the armorer is the one that should be facing the majority.
She's been charged. She's actually charged with second-degree murder. So she's charged with an even bigger crime than he is, because she had a duty, a professional duty and responsibility, which raises the stakes quite a bit more.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, okay. All right. I wonder if people on the right would feel differently about this if this were Scott Baio. or Kirk Cameron?
I'd feel no different.
Well, hold on. Here's the question.
Yeah.
Because Scott Mayo and Kirk Cameron are people that have really strong conservative views. They've supported conservative causes. Meanwhile, Alec Baldwin is a guy who's been very, very left leaning.
Okay.
And so I wonder if the political ideology taints the argument at all. Not for Robert, but just in general.
Manslaughter is manslaughter.
No,
I mean, I'm just asking out loud.
And the argument I would make is if they tend to be a little bit more conservative, there is a strong likelihood they probably have some background with firearms between conservative values and Hollywood, so they're going to have good, healthy, habits when it comes to handling a weapon. Because that's really what it comes down to: is you should have a set of habits. Every time you grab a weapon, you check the chamber.
I mean, that was drilled into me years ago at the Revolver Club by what's his name, Marcus. Like it is. His example, he used the dummy round. He's like, he does that little sleight of hand trick. He's like, ejects one. All right, it's unloaded, right? No, it's not. And that's like, oh, you better check every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Unless you've seen that
that's
unloaded,
exactly right.
you assume that thing is loaded and that do not point at something you do not wish to destroy.
Yep.
Last night, somebody wanted to check out my SIG, good friend of mine, because he had never handled one. I dropped the mag, racked it, caught the round out into my hand. I said, chamber round, magazine, left it locked open, handed it to him. He checks it. He sends the slide home. He then rechecks it. And then he said, I'm good. When it came back to me, same thing coming back.
Mm-hmm. Should be a habit every time.
Yeah. You don't touch a weapon that you don't know the exact status of it, verified by you, not anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's strangely no different than when you hand off an axe or a knife, right? You hold the blade, you hand up like those are habits when using weapons you should learn at a fairly young age and always keep them the same, always have them reiterated to you, drill them into your head and your kids' head and everybody you know.
And don't lean into the knife, right?
And Paul and I have done a firearm.
And don't lean into the knife. That's right. What's that, Robert? I missed that.
And
Sorry.
I said, and Paul and I did a firearm exchange years ago.
We did.
When Paul borrowed my 44, and I handed it to him with the cylinder open, and handed him the round separate.
What kind of 44?
Yeah,
it's a Taurus, old
really
school.
big one.
Ooh, yeah, I've got a Smith & Wesson.
Yeah.
That's my favorite right now.
Yep.
I like my Beretta.
And
I still have the fun.
Wait, you wear Berettas?
No, I have a Beretta.
I remember shooting at the range. They had what was that? The was it not 45? It's whatever the Casull is. Big.
The Casull 454.
454.
Yeah, huge.
That's a big round.
The time, I mean, you put the little AA batteries in, right? I shot 2 rounds and knocked down 5 plates.
Yep.
It drew blood
Sounds about right.
from the web of my hand. I was like, I wasn't like, ow. I was like, oh, cool.
That old school 44 is my wife's favorite firearm. If I would allow her, she would carry a bigger purse and have it in her purse for her concealment. I kid you not. She's like, "Can I take this?"
She'd have one heavy purse.
No. Yeah.
You'd be like, "Hey, darling,
it's Clint Eastwood style large."
That's right. You tell her, you say, you don't have to shoot at the perps running away. Just throw the purse at them.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this the example of where, if you asked your wife, with a gun like that, so what are you afraid of? And she would probably answer, nothing.
No, and she can shoot that as well as I can.
Women tend
to amazing.
My wife is 110 pounds soaking wet, but you get her behind that 44, you better stay out of the way because.
Well, some studies the military did show that in a bunch of cases, women were better shots than men.
35 feet,
they are
all inside of a.
They're absolutely. Yep. Yeah. I think I do believe that they are a better shot. And it was always
women.
I don't know how it was explained.
As well, just another study the Air Force did was that women were better fighter pilots than men too, just in their reaction.
Well, they listen better than we do.
Well,
basically, they do. They listen better than we do.
What'd you say?
Yeah.
Women tend to be better fencers too. You're right. They have better reaction time, better visual.
Well, and
acuity.
when
they've been riding those fences.
When you're selling stolen stuff, man, you're going to suspect the man before a woman.
Women put up fences? What are you talking about?
See, the jokes are better now.
right? Speaking of jokes, do you know who the new darling for the Conservative Party is? Turned against his own party?
Who's that?
Fetterman.
Oh yeah.
Pennsylvania senator he keeps coming out against the progressives. He's like, I am not a progressive, and the
He's
open
like a
border is
progressive
destroying
player
this
nowadays.
country. Yeah. I don't know whether to laugh or cry because this dude's annoyed the hell out of me since day one, and now all of a sudden he's out there in his damn sweatshirt talking about how the open border is really bad, and I'm like going, dude, I could love you, man. It wasn't for everything else you do, but still, I mean, to see him take a stand like this on an issue like this, heck yeah, man, I'll take it.
Oh yeah, I like what Fetterman's doing lately. He is just
exactly lately.
Double backflips inside of our office,
burning stuff to the ground and way out the door.
Yep.
You know what, Robert? You know what? I think I know what it is. He's finally starting to recover from that stroke. So he was a progressive Democrat when the stroke happened, right? And now he's slowly getting over. He's going, "What the hell was wrong with me?"
That's what Corey said. The brain injury fixed his brain.
So that's what's wrong with Kevin.
You drop him on his head enough, he'll come around. Whatever. Fetterman's a clown. I don't care how he votes. He's a clown.
Yeah, but he's still an elected. He's still a senator.
Yeah, people in Pennsylvania don't think so.
I don't know. Maybe they do now.
Well,
maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
I just thought it was odd that there was a news report when he was in the hospital talking about how his wife could, succeed his spot.
That's not how that works.
No, I know.
No, it doesn't work that way.
No, it
but
could be.
She's not a citizen.
No, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's up to state laws currently, and she could be appointed to take over the seat. That's happened plenty of times.
Right.
So, depending what the state law is in Pennsylvania.
Right, but dude is alive, kicking. He's just in the hospital, and they're talking about him dying. It was very odd.
He's a weird cat, dude. He's a weird cat. He's not.
He's in the same category with Butt Plug.
He's, what? His last name is Bukkake. Bukkake. Thank you. Gosh. At least get it right. All right. Anything else you want to touch on before we wrap? We're going to do football picks really quick on the Facebook side, but since there's only 2 games, it'll literally take us 2 minutes to do. But we'll do that on the Facebook side. Anything else you want to?
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
There is one thing I wanted to touch on really quick. Sorry, 2 things. One, if you have not seen the video footage of the M2 Bradley infantry fighting vehicles in Ukraine, go look it up and watch it. It'll absolutely put a smile on your face. And there's an interview that they did with the crew of that Bradley. So for those that don't know, a T-90 tank is generally considered Russia's top tier tank. Well, ever since Desert Storm in 1991, we've known we took M2 Bradley infantry fighting vehicles and M1 Abrams, and we'd split them up 2 and 2. So 2 tanks and 2 Bradleys. We call them hunter-killer groups because we found out something really fast. And that's that even though the Bradley has about 1/5 of the armor of an M1 tank, and it has a little teeny tiny 20 millimeter chain gun on top, that chain gun fires depleted uranium rounds that are 20 millimeters. So they're about 5-6 inches long and about 1 inch wide. And guess what they do? They pop the turrets off of Russian tanks like the zit on the back of a bull bear, man. I'm telling you, they just pop right off and stuff spurts everywhere. And it is an amazing sight to see. And so these Bradleys, I could have described what happens when
after that T-90. They jumped all over it. It was nice.
It was. They're so fast. And with a tank, you fire around on a Russian tank. It's got an auto loader, so you wait about 3.5-4 seconds for the next round to load, right? If you fire a wire guided missile, the best thing about that was the salesman because you can always turn and shoot back. But those 20 millimeter chain guns are like this: pop, 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 pop. And I'm telling you, there is no escape once an M1 Bradley has you in its sights. If you're a tank, at least a Russian tank, you're toast. And it's amazing because we've heard nothing about the M1 Abrams seeing combat. Nothing. Mum's the word. We've heard nothing. We don't know thing if any have been destroyed.
There.
Nothing.
And they don't need the tanks.
The Bradleys are tearing. They are. The Bradleys are tearing it up. absolutely tearing it up. So that was the first thing I wanted to mention. The second thing was, if you haven't seen the footage of the jellyfish UFO, go look it up. It was flying over a top secret base, and it literally looks like a jellyfish with tentacles hanging down and everything. And they can't lock on it. They're only able to see it through thermal imagers. It flies right over the top of soldiers in the middle of the night. Nobody sees or hears nothing. And it's right down, probably 15, 20 feet over the top of this base, flying along. Absolutely amazing footage. So there we go. Those are the two things I wanted to end with.
All right. Really quick, you guys, go to the Bremerton Police Department Facebook page. There was 2 female toddlers, a year and a half old and about 9 months old, they're guessing, that were abandoned at the Sylvan Way Baptist Church. So go in there, that page, take a look at it and share it and see if we can identify who these kids are.
Oh, my God.
For those of you on AM, we'll see you guys on Wednesday. If you're on Facebook, we'll do some football picks and wrap this up around the corner. Stay right there. OutlawRadioNetwork.com. I did it for
Kevin,
you, Paul.
do you need me to send you a good night text? Want a good night text?
Oh, my God.
Hey, Kevin.
Yeah.
Philip just gave you the finger.
Thanks, buddy.
Children have been identified.
Oh, have they been identified? Oh, good. Okay.
Oh, good.
You know, state law allows you to drop off children at
fire stations,
fire stations, hospitals.
Yeah. So,
and not churches, but responsible people might be there to help.
You'd hope so.
They're also preschool, so
1.5, and
they guessed about 9 months old is what I saw in the post.
Several people that either have or currently work there, and they're good people who really care about children.
Yeah.
Kevin, you might appreciate this. Yellowstone creator Taylor Sheridan has just had a new series that's been purchased, and it looks really cool. It's about the legendary Comanche leader. I'm saying they're not giving his name, but I can only imagine which Comanche leader. Could be Geronimo. But anyway, so he's anyway. There's a great tagline here. It says, "The man simply makes hits and woke Hollywood hates him." Listen, that dude, to me, for my money, is the best Hollywood producer out there. He just keeps writing amazing stuff. He hasn't written anything that I didn't just totally love.
Yeah, right now he's got Midas touch, right? I mean, he can pretty much touch anything. For people to think it's only Western too, it's not. He did the what was that? The
Tulsa
Mayor of
King,
Kingstown?
Mayor of Kingstown.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kingston.
He did Sheriff Bass Reeves. That series just ended. Phenomenal series.
Have you watched that? Is that good? I haven't seen it yet.
I did. It really, you really feel the palpable energy between the races at the end of the Civil War, and it really touches on a lot of those topics. Really touches on them hard.
Is it dark like Yellowstone and all those? Does it have a kind of a dark edge to it?
Kingston?
No, Bass Reeves.
Oh, sorry.
It's edgy. Let me put it that way.
Edgy?
It's edgy.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to watch it.
Is that
because
Kingston,
he really.
Go ahead, Paul. He really what?
What? I was just going to say that the actor that plays Bass Reeves plays him deadly serious. Yeah.
Okay. And Tom, to answer your question, it's Kingstown, New York, I think. Right?
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought it was Boston. It's supposed to.
I wasn't sure if it was Kingston or Kingstown. So I was just okay. Because if it was like Jamaica and the 1700s,
it's
that was going
based
to
in
get
New
my
England.
attention.
It's based in New England.
Oh,
up in that area somewhere.
Because I like the pirate stuff out of Jamaica.
Of course you do.
Of course I do.
Of course you do.
Yeah. Well,
I'm a pirate.
Have you seen Black Sails?
No.
Oh, it's a.
Why are you going to make it racial,
series.
Tom?
Black Sails is about pirates.
Why are you making it racial, Tom?
No.
First of all, those are called African American sails, Tom. Get it right. Come on.
Right.
Right.
That was a good
Robert?
series.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't listening. I was reading your Facebook page.
Hey, I got a question for you, Robert.
Yeah, man.
Do people ever call you Bob or Bobby, or is it always
No,
Rob?
because I had an Uncle Bob. That's why I went by Robert.
And so everybody knows you as Robert. Nobody calls you anything short. Rob, anything. Robbie.
I have when I was a little
Roberto. Can I call you Roberto?
Hell, I don't care.
But you got to roll your R every time.
I have 3 friends down in California that have known me since I was about 7.
Mm-hmm.
and they call me Bobby.
Do they? They're the only ones.
They're the only ones.
Okay, well, I'm going to be the only friend you have that calls you Roberto. Roberto Parker joins us in studio. That's great.
Hey, what's this thing about asking you questions in some foreign language or something like that?
No. So in
That's
fact,
what I was reading.
We did that last week on the show. So what we do is
This was one day ago.
No, I do it on my page too, just because it's
okay.
fun and I get bored because I don't have a girlfriend or a wife to occupy my time right now. So what
Oh, that's
happens
too
is
bad.
it's a site called Saraha,
Okay.
and it's based in Saudi Arabia.
Okay.
I don't know why it's based there; it's just where it is. But it basically allows people.
Dude, are you one of those foreign traders?
No. Listen. It basically allows people.
Saudi Arabia, we're not real big friends with them nowadays.
This has nothing to do with Saudi Arabia. It's just where the site's based at. That's why it's in
That's
Arabic.
what people said about the Chinese too.
Well, but this isn't TikTok. And so what happens is it allows people to submit anonymous questions. They can submit a question, but you don't know where it's coming from.
Or you're telling them it's anonymous anyway, right?
No, it is. You can go research the Sarah Haas site if you want to, but it's anonymous. So they basically
Allegedly.
go play on the site. You'll see it for yourself. But they basically
This is this dating site, right?
No, it's not a dating site.
If it is,
they can just drop a comment or a question or whatever in the site, and then it pops up in my messages box, and I answer them. I just
well, why can't we just do that without this little
because
writing thing?
You ready for this? Because some people are chicken shit. Some people will not ask the question.
I have never known Holly to be.
I'm not talking about Holly. I'm not talking about Holly. Although I do wonder if she's the one who wrote that one comment that I posted. I'm not talking about.
Which one was that?
Could be people around the studio here that wrote the
Sarah.
comment. You never know.
I'm going to go to my Sarah Hall really quick.
Everything I put in there, I'd say to your face.
No, I know you would. I know you would.
I say it to everybody's face.
Yeah.
Let me go in there.
Yeah.
I haven't checked it today either. And then I love questions like this, right? Would you really miss me if I died tomorrow? I don't know who the fuck asked the question. How am I supposed to answer you?
Wow. That's really dark.
Would you miss Holly?
Do you pick and choose which questions you share? I've sent others and you haven't shared them. Anyway, well, I think I've answered everything except for the ones that came into the show last week, and then I answered those on the show, so I'm not going to do them on my page. But here's what
you
somebody...
never answered mine, but that's okay.
Here's what somebody wrote. Why are you such a misogynistic and crude person who uses God to discriminate against women?
Whoa.
And I answered that. I swear that had to be Holly.
That has to be Holly.
It had to be. First of all, I'm not a misogynist. Oh, you know who posted it? You think you know who posted it? Okay. I'm not a misogynist. I talk a lot of smack, but if you've met my daughters, there's no misogynistic bone in my body. My daughters have been raised to be strong-willed, opinionated.
So what happened to their father?
Anyway,
shots fired.
I was just there, and you were
I don't know
laying
how
it
I'm.
out.
I don't know how I'm
Too
crude.
much soy.
I don't know how I'm crude.
You're not crude.
But they said, why are you such a misogynistic and crude person who uses God to discriminate against women? I'm not sure how I use God to discriminate at all, let alone women, because I don't think I discriminated against anybody. In fact, if anything, I'm the anti-discrimination person because I'll offend all of y'all at the exact same time, and I don't care. Now, maybe I'm offensive and you don't like it. Brilliant. But I don't discriminate against anybody. I will offend all of you at the same time. I don't care. I mean, one of my best friends is Paul. He's a Pollock. Listen, he can't even get himself out of the car when he locks his keys in it and he's sitting there and doesn't know how to get out. So
that's why I still call you daddy.
That's right.
He lives in Belfair too.
I don't think he's still in Belfair.
He's on the
is he?
Key Peninsula.
Oh, he's on Key Pen.
Key Pen,
He moved
which is worse than
further
Belfair.
south,
Which is
right.
worse than Belfair.
He's working his way home.
At least in Belfair, they have AOL dial-up. Out in Key Pen, Paul doesn't even have that. He had to bus in internet. So anyway, so I got a couple more questions to answer. This is great. Would you miss me if I died tomorrow? I don't even know who you are. How am I supposed to answer that question?
I don't know. Maybe she's cute.
Maybe.
You better
Doubtful.
answer it.
Doubtful. Oh, do you know who wrote that one?
I'm only guessing.
Oh, you're only guessing. All right. Anyway. So there you go. And do you pick and choose the questions you share? I've sent others and you haven't shared them. Well, some of them are not questions. Like I get people that ask questions like, hold on, I'll share one of these.
It's probably one of mine.
No, somebody put in here, when you told me I deserve a man in my life who wants to build a future with me, why did you apologize for not being that man? Because I'm clearly not interested in you that way.
Oh, That
Okay,
was not my
there you
question.
go. I mean, I'm not going to answer that because that's hurtful. I'm trying not to be mean to people, and clearly that's really you specific, not me specific. So why would I answer it? I did have a question about what was your coming to Jesus moment. I haven't answered that yet, but I only have so many hours in a day, so deal with it. So yeah, there we go.
Fun time.
Before we get to our parting shots and things,
Are we picking?
Mick says Kevin is woke. I'm certainly not fucking woke. I mean, I'm a lot of things, Mick, but I'm not woke.
He's I think not. Mick's just trying
to Kevin, with Kevin woke. Is not woke.
Yeah. Sounds triggered.
I am not woke at all.
I work with woke.
We have Lori asked in the chat. I'll put it out there if you didn't see it. Who's going to the Super Bowl?
Who do you think?